Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the Cheers to Comics podcast, where each week, two, sometimes three of your best friends are going to kick back a cold one and talk about their favorite comics of the week. Our show will have some spoilers and may contain some adult themes and language parents might not find suitable for their children. If you're cool with that, then join me, one of your hosts, Justin Jones, along with the George Gregory Allen of comics, Brian Wayne,
Yo.
and returning guest, Mason Fox.
Hello.
What's up, man? How's it going, guys?
It's going.
It is. That it is. We have yet another large week of comics to talk about. It's an exciting week, a very large stack.
Yeah, I'm interested in what you've been reading.
Yeah. Eventually, you're going to be reading some of these with us, Mason.
Yeah, that's what you tell me.
Well, we're going to make you. But in the meantime, we got
Then I'm going to make you play games with me.
Out loud?
Deal.
But let's start out with what we're drinking, boys. We are drinking beers again this week. Something from the Winmer Brothers Brewing Company.
Hefe. It's an American Heffenweizen.
Yeah, man, out of old Portland, Oregon. So once again, representing the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, I'm a Hefe guy, so I dig it. You guys like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Sweet. All right. Well, on with the news. Well, just a couple of small pieces, but at the same time, I found them to be exciting. Circling back to a news piece that popped up a few weeks ago. Remember we talked about Second Coming, DC backing out?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, old Mr. Mark Russell found a publisher already.
Right on.
Ahoy Comics. So, yeah, exactly.
What, have they done anything I've read, maybe?
Probably not.
No? Alright.
No, they're, I mean, obviously.
They're gonna.
I'm going to have to look them up real quick.
Yeah, no, they're gonna let them, it's creator controlled, obviously.
Awesome.
So,
I'm all for that.
Yeah, man, Richard Pace is gonna be illustrating, so, yeah, no, I think it's scheduled for a late summer release, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, no, the whole
Not
deal
too
with
far away.
Yeah, the deal with the Second Coming story was it was like a goofy Jesus story.
That's one of their top headlines, Second Coming, at Ahoy.
Yep.
On their website.
Oh, yeah, that's big news. I bet it's the huge news for Ahoy. But, I mean, it's huge news for the comic community, because a lot of people have been really looking forward to this, so...
Yeah, I haven't heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to look at what their comic section is, what they've got going on.
Yeah, man.
Planet of the Nerds, Bronze Age Boogie, looks like some indie titles, Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man, Hashtag Danger. Interesting. I actually really like the art on that. That's...
Okay, yeah, yeah.
That's...
Oh, sweet. Yeah, no.
That's
Kind of reminds like that Hardy Brothers.
It's a Hardy Brothers.
Nancy Drew sort of like vibe to it.
With like Fantastic Four and like
definitely.
some of that classic 1920s dime novel cover style almost. It's very interesting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it seems like those are their three main ones are Bronze Age Boogie and Planet of the Nerds and Hashtag Danger.
What other news you got for us?
All right. We got a Wolverine book coming out. I know.
Another one.
Check this shit out, though. This isn't just any Wolverine book. It's a one-shot.
Okay.
It's a triple compilation. And it is the who's who of disappeared creators. We're talking Chris Claremont, the longest running X-Men writer of all time.
Really?
So he's doing a story in there.
Interesting.
Sam Keith.
Oh, cool.
Sam Keith doing
your
Wolverine
boy.
again. So, I mean, that was enough to sell me right there. And Larry Hannah, G.I. Joe guy. So, yeah, no, legends. 3 legends doing a fun triple one-shot. Is that a thing? It is now. I said it. Yeah, so I found that to be newsworthy for sure. I don't know the release date by any means.
No, sounds interesting.
It's always awesome to see. Well, we got to see Sam Keith do some DC stuff this year with actually I guess it was an IDW DC crossover with the Batman
And the Max.
Arkham Dreams
Yep.
Max thing that still hasn't finished yet. And
He's busy working on Wolverine.
I guess maybe, I don't know. And I like to think so. I like to think that's what it is. But beyond that, oh shit, yeah, now he's going over to Marvel. So, and then he's published just recently, which we'll talk about a tad, 100-page max whatever to try to like. It's just what Keith considers a compilation to try to get new Max readers in. So it made me wonder, like, why would he be doing this?
The must-read of Max.
Right.
Yeah. Is there going to be more Max?
Oh God, that would be. I mean, we got a Max crossover with Batman, which is amazing. But like, if he's building up to a comeback, I mean, he's doing little stories and everything, bouncing over to. I mean, he's working for IDW, DC, and Marvel all in the same year. Is my point. Like, Sam Keith is back. So I don't know, man. I would love to see the Max take off again.
I know you do. Yeah,
I really would. I think it would have to be through Image, though, because I think IDW is in some trouble, which we should probably talk about at some point. But I need more information before I talk about all that stuff.
Well, we will expound in the future then.
Yes. All right. Well, should we jump into this giant stack of books, boys?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, let's start with the indies, like we do. These are the books that released for the 13th of March, 2019. So, let's start out with Image Comics. Assassin Nation. Number 1. 2 words. Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson. The cover was done by Erica Henderson. So this was an impulse buy for me.
It looks like an Archie comic.
It kind of
has
feels,
that image to it, for sure.
Yeah, it kind of feels like an Archie comic. If you put a whole bunch of guns and killing and...
Like, it's just that the art style is very Archie.
Yeah, no, that's how she rolls.
You're not wrong.
So, did you read this one?
I did.
Oh, cool. Right on. So, well, I guess kind of give a vague introduction of the book, because that's pretty much what this book is a vague introduction. We get this mysterious character that's in this position of power.
Yep.
You've got this pretty messed up looking dude there. There's an interrogation going on.
Yeah, he's talking about how he runs the second strongest or most powerful mob family in the city. You know, that he used to be a hitman, and he misses being a hitman, and his name was Chekhov's gun, because whenever you saw him, you knew you were dead.
Yeah. So, there seems to be this fella here, he's in this situation where he can't really trust anybody around him, is what I'm getting out of this. And, like, even his bodyguards seem to be turning on him, like, or they like lead him into a car that's getting ready to explode or something like that.
Well, I think his bodyguards are just incompetent.
Well, that as well. But the fact is that, yeah, he's not safe at this point, and he needs some help. So then we flash forward to this gathering.
He's trying to figure out who assassinated him, and who better to save him from being assassinated than assassins. They can think like an assassin, and they can save him.
Right. Yes, and this is what we get at this point is this like little party. All these people got this invite. They clearly, it's the who's who of killers.
Yep.
The whole time I keep picturing like these guys all meeting up in the what's his face's bar, like in Deadpool, that's kind of the group of guys.
Or like
we got
the bounty hunters in Alita.
It's like the greatest hits, but greatest hits men.
Right.
Aha.
Oh yeah, I mean, and even in the first page, you get like the top 20 ranking or whatever.
Worldwide assassin rankings.
And then if you're going through that, and you just kind of get an idea of what you're getting into immediately. Like when you look at some of the names.
Okay, so on second thought, really looking at like the assassin ranking sheet, it looks more like
GTA.
I was gonna say very much like the Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I think that was very on purpose.
Oh, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, even with like the lettering, it just feels.
Oh, very much so. Yes. The color scheme overall for them just looks very GTA cover art.
Very San Andreas.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's probably what got me. But I like the names they chose for some of these guys, like some random ones. I'll pick up some ones that don't really show up in this story, like David Bowie Knife.
Yep.
And
we have to mention the best one, though.
Oh, we will. He's the greatest. But, yeah.
Oh my god.
God.
Like, I just scrolled down the page.
You knew exactly what it was.
To find what you were looking.
Oh yeah, buddy. So we're getting this these quick meetings with all of these people. The first guy we meet is Bishop. And, he's retired at this point, confused as to why he's going in there. We get this overshot panel where you just kind of see, a vague view of all these people. We're getting these little mini conversations. And then we run into my favorite conversation. We get a fanboy who's also an assassin, but he's just you could tell he's a young assassin.
Right.
So he's excited to see
starstruck.
Right, because a lot of these people are retired. They're not in the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite one, though, is Mr. Fuck Tarkington.
Fuck Tarkington. And I love the explanation of why that's his name.
Dude, oh, man. So, picture what
Show
somebody...
me what this guy looks like.
Well, just picture a dude named Fuck Tarkington, and that's what he looks like.
I mean, that's pretty close to what I pictured, actually.
Yeah. Just some overalls. That's it.
Yep.
Just some overalls.
Great mustache.
Oh, and the best mustache.
The best mustache. He looks like early 1900s boxer. Put him up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He's so many cliches in one.
Oh, he's every cliche.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing.
It's great.
So he goes, your first introduction to him, he's, before you walk into this party, there's, this tray there where it's, leave your weapons for everybody's safety.
He's
and there's, 35, you could already see there's, 35 people in the party, and there's, 2 or 3 guns on the tray, so it kind of makes you wonder right there. But the first one you see is Bishop's, gold-plated gun. Well...
You gotta take a penny, leave a penny situation here.
So he picks up this gold gun, he just puts it in the front short pocket of his overalls, and just, strutting around. You can see he's just, strutting around the party.
Just chilling.
And then we get Dave, the fanboy. And he's like, oh, fuck Tarkington, you're the best. Can you get an autograph? He's got his little autograph book. And he's like, could you make it out to Dave? It's D-A. He's like, man, I know how to spell Dave. And then when he hands it back to him, it's, thanks, Dave, D-A-Y-B, your pal, fuck.
So I love the explanation of why his name is fuck. He's like, well, it's more of the dad wanted a boy named Sue kind of situation, but he wanted something that was still, masculine, so he figured fuck would be perfect.
Yep. That's great.
That's fucking great.
That's great.
Funny thing about Boy Named Sue, wasn't actually written by Johnny Cash. That was written by Shel Silverstein for Johnny Cash.
Son of a bitch. Or fuck, to be more proper. So then from there, we got our fucks out the way. So we get to meet my second favorite character, Fernando Pendejo.
Yep. The greatest.
Picture a guy named Fernando Pendejo.
I do, and I see it.
It's it's like if the Jesus from The Big Lebowski put on a suit.
Nobody fucks with.
Yeah.
The Pendejo.
And that's
Pretty close.
And our fanboy Dave comes up to... I love this autograph book so much, because he comes up to Fernando Pendejo, and he asks for an autograph, and it comes back, fuck off, cabron. So it's... Poor Dave. But then we get
Dave.
Poor Dave.
Dave.
And then we get the meeting, we get our... I can't
Day
remember...
because that B is capitalized. It could just be Day B.
Davey.
Right? Rankin, that's our guy's name, the mob boss that's looking for protection.
Right.
So at this point, everybody's in the room. He'd been waiting for Fernando Pendejo to show up the whole time. He wanted to make sure everyone was there. He's the last one to arrive. And he explains, look, everyone's fucking up. I need some help.
I'm gonna hire you guys. I'm gonna pay you your rate every day.
Yep. And then the next thing you know, everybody's got guns out and they start shooting at him.
Right.
And
the other 34 people in the room pull out their guns.
So you start weeding out characters immediately, and my first initial thought was, if Fuck Tarkington dies right now, I'm gonna rip this Tarkington out.
You can't kill Fuck.
You can't kill Fuck. But the comic does end with Fernando Pendejo's brains all over the floor.
Aww.
Oh no, it's
I guess you can fuck with the Jesus.
Oh yeah, he got fucked with hard.
It's a very colorful, vibrant, violent comic.
This is actually
the character design is on point.
It's great. It's imaginative. I like the fact that it is very It's adult for sure, but coming off in an Archie Comics type of style.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very Image book.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, no, this is an Image book for sure. So, I think we started out the week strong. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was in a shit mood. I got some bad news before it was all like comic book day and everything. So I went and I'll be damned if after I got through this book, I was just I'm plowing through the rest of them from here. This book put me in a good fucking mood.
That's
I said
good.
fuck a lot because Turkington. Golly, that's never gonna get old. Moving along.
Next we have Little Birds
Little
from
Bird.
Image. We got Darcy Van
Polgeest.
Ian Bertram, and Matt Hollingsworth.
Yes, we do, and the cover by Bertram and Hollingsworth as well. So, as a matter of fact, I believe that Ian Bertram is coming to Mile High Comics for Free Comic Book Day to do a signing. I believe.
Nice.
I believe. I could be wrong. It might be a variant cover artist. Shit. I could have just made a fool of myself. Regardless, there's somebody attached to this book that's going to be doing a signing at Free Comic Book Day.
In the front of the cover doesn't say anything about...
It might be an exclusive variant.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but, yeah, no, go ahead. This book was another impulse buy for me.
This is a good surprise.
It's already in a
turned
second.
me onto this one.
It's already in a second print. Like, I picked it up, and halfway through, I was like, yeah, no, this is something I think Justin would do better talking about. It's just everything about it's different. Like, it jumps you right in the middle of a story for being number one. It does,
definitely. So, like, we're in the middle of a war-torn situation. We've got a changing of the guard. Instead of the United States of America, we now have the United Nations of America, which is controlled by this, like, almost, like, Spanish Inquisition America.
Right.
Where the Vatican is now in America. It's just all kinds of weird stuff.
All completely religious.
And we've got this, like, almost indigenous rebel group from the Rocky Mountains of Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's different. But we have this woman, you know, she's rallying her village to rally the troops for the fight. But she sends her daughter underground with a watch or a clock or a pocket watch.
It's like a pocket watch, yeah.
And, you know, saying, if, you know, when you get out, go to the axe. Follow the plan.
Free the axe, save the world, something. Like,
right.
there's a whole note to it. I screwed up by not writing it down. But, yeah, no, that becomes like the mantra throughout the whole book. It's repeated several times, but... was it set up? Yeah, no, but the big thing right now, the whole point of the note...
Free the axe, save the people.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly.
Save the world.
Yeah, there you go.
Canada.
And so, yeah, there they are in Canada, and she's on her way to free the axe. And immediately you think, like, oh, they literally mean free the axe, because they go up to this big glass case.
Right, yeah.
But before that, she's got to sneak her way in there, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's in a penitentium of the genetically modified.
Yep.
And... you have this, like, kind of poetic moment about how this hunter turned into a wolf because the village couldn't find any food to hunt. And one by one at night, this hunter who was turned into a wolf would kill one of the wolves and drag it back to the village until they were all gone. And then when the hunter left as the wolf, said, well, why would you leave? No, because winter is soon over and you will thrive again.
Right.
And I am the wolf. But, so we got this wolf following her, and then we see, like, just this mess of blood and guts and love just sitting there. And we think, oh no, the little girl got. No, she got the wolf. And, you know, this little girl sneaks in, steals a robotic arm.
From the surveillance guard, yeah.
Right. And uses the wolf skin to sneak across and uses his hand to get access in there. And again, we got that glass case with a bunch of different weapons. She grabs this giant axe and she's just dragging across the prison. And then we find out why she's there. And there's this giant, scarred up dude with a Canadian t-shirt.
It's Canada Claus.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Canada Claus. All right, yeah.
This is a security officer's last day, though. There's a special forces team on their way to eradicate everybody in the prison. They're not asking questions. They don't care who's who. They're killing everyone. And this is his last night. He wants out of here, but he can't get out until he has his other hand. But he starts hurting the little girl, and the axe breaks out.
Bam.
And he is brutal. And there is a battle, and we see that this little girl is also brutal. Just awesome little combat.
She's a badass.
Yeah, she's all ninja and flipping around and cutting people.
And this book takes a turn to super gore.
Very often, yes.
Like, yeah, we get this weird kind of. I'm not sure what that one
There's
scene is.
quite a bit of entrails there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even spilling off panel.
Right. Like even the panels are pretty much all lined with entrails.
Yes,
Yep.
I see that.
It's part of the design at this point. It's like Kill Bill. It's all over.
I can see Tarantino masturbating to this a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Tarantino
Not
masturbates
enough
to
feet.
Kurosawa. Like Akira Kurosawa is definitely his spank bank material.
Well.
Like talking about Yojimbo and Seven Samurai. Oh yeah, that's like those are bedtime stories for Tarantino and also spank bank material.
Fair.
Gross. So what did you think about this comic?
I'm intrigued. I'm gonna at least give it one more issue.
Yeah.
This isn't typically my type of story. The art was very unique.
Everything about
liked
it looks
it.
very unique, and the story sounds actually pretty intriguing.
Yeah. No, this is something that I think both of you would definitely jump on. That's why I
And if you're somebody listening to this and you're kind of intrigued but not sure, wait for our review. I think this would be a great trade book so far. It's gearing up to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, it's already in the second printing and it hasn't been a week yet, so
That's
that
awesome.
says something.
Yeah.
Yes. More Image Comics. Outer Darkness #5. John Layman on Fu Chan. I got the Fu Chan cover as well. This story is progressing nicely. I like how it starts out in the beginning. It's all bound chicka bow wow.
We get
Ogway's
this
trying to
very
get boned.
Aliens vibe from it.
Yeah. Ogway's trying to get him some torchas.
He is, and we've got this hot cat girl. But wait, the only cat girl we knew was the shriveled up future teller, was it, right?
Oh, yep. It's
And it is.
all a trap.
It seems to be like some kind of spell in her chambers.
Yep. So before Ogway could even get his willy wet, I don't even think it would have got wet. We get all hands on deck.
Oh, gross.
We get all hands on
Before he gets
deck.
his willy dusty.
Yep. Whoop, 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 red alert. So everyone's got to go to deck.
Yep.
And they, I guess to fast forward real quick, they crash land on some ice planet.
Right. The reason that they crash land is because their cargo they just picked up, which was another person who was possessed by a powerful demon, just broke out.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't believe that he could have broken out, that somebody had to free him.
Right. So
we crash land and we have
there's some fuckery afoot.
the captain is keeping a certain amount of team to look at the ship, see if they can do repairs and salvage what they can. Another part of the team is sent to try to find some kind of shelter because it is already way too cold, and as soon as nightfall comes down, they will all freeze to death.
And they don't have nearly enough environmental suits.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
the big
'cause
thing.
When the hole blew in the ship, all that storage went out.
Yep. So at this point here, we get pretty much a whole lot of blaming each other, going back and forth.
First officer Satalis still doesn't trust Riggs. Riggs doesn't trust Satalis.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of drama on the old ice planet here. A whole lot of double crossing, and it's.
Definitely.
I mean, without giving everything away,
we already knew a little bit about Shin, though. We already know he's got some kind of dark secrets going on.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like somebody who was
And we've got Elox, who was already a brutal god in his time, so two very suspicious motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's even a point when that's Shin, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's like whispering over to Elox. You're like, oh yeah, no, it's about to get super messed up around here. Like he's like giving the indication.
They can
Elox
both tell, like, something's up.
But I'm not even sure like Elox is cool with what he's cool with, So like, I don't know.
We don't know.
There's it's hard to say at this point. This was an interesting issue for sure.
Yeah, we definitely got a bit of a turn. I thought they would like lead us on with this whole Shin thing for a while, try to make us forget about it, and then bring it back. But no, they're just jumping straight into it.
Yeah.
And they have all this story with Satalis. I thought they were really going to keep him around, but no, they just go ahead and off him.
It sounds very much like someone who was very inspired by Yakuza stories from Japan, because a lot of those are filled with the very same thing. It's less action oriented until it is straight up betrayal and double crossing, and it happens a lot, and you don't know who to trust throughout any Yakuza story.
No, that makes sense, because that's pretty much been the pace of this entire book through 5 issues.
Yeah.
Like it only gets interesting when there's like some disagreement within the same crew.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that they've created an interesting story. I love the setting, and I like the way the art delivers it.
So basically, you don't know whose allegiance is to who, or everyone might be out for themselves.
Really, the only thing that I think I'm sure about this book is that Captain Briggs and Ogway are cool with each other. Other than that, at this point, I don't trust a goddamn soul.
Okay.
But I'm fairly certain that Ogway and Briggs, because Ogway has stuck his neck out for Briggs way too many times to the point where like he's lost his job.
Right.
You know, under indictment, I think is how the first issue even like turned out for
yeah, because they had the mutiny.
Yeah, and then it turns out Briggs ends up getting his own ship and it all works out for him. But it's
only if Ogway can come with him.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, I'm fairly, but other than that. The rest of these relationships, I don't trust any of this shit. It's all about to be double-crossy, because now that you mentioned that pattern there, it makes me wonder, because that really has been the tone.
Definitely, if you have the chance, one of my favorite movies, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but, oh man, what is his name? Takashi Kitano. Wrote and directed and starred in Outrage and Beyond Outrage.
Yeah. And
Beyond Outrage picks up directly as a sequel to Outrage. And it is a Yakuza story that from beginning to end, I mean, you have to deal with subtitles, but from beginning to end, it is, who can I freaking trust here? Who has an allegiance with who? What is going on? It is insane, and it is one of my favorite ones.
Right on.
And also, if you want any reference for Takashi Kitano, I don't know if either of you ever saw I think it was 2005, maybe 2006, Zatoichi.
No. I've not seen it.
Great rendition of Zatoichi. Fantastic. Once again, written, starring, and directed by.
Son of a bitch.
Cool.
All right, man. Wow, that was a lot of. That's a lot to go back on. All right.
Sorry to segue.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Tangents are good.
No, absolutely. That's a lot of new information. I know I couldn't have delivered. So this next book here is super hype. A lot of people have been looking forward to this for a while. At least a lot of people in my circle. Transformers is back. Transformers #1. Brian Ruckley, Angel Hernandez, Cache Whitman, and Joanna LaFuente, I believe.
The 80s are coming back.
Oh, man. This book... Alright, so I didn't know what I was getting myself into with the Transformers book. I had a feeling it was going to be very slow-paced and world-building and all of that stuff. Well, this was. But in a way that was very, very intriguing. Very intriguing for a brain like mine. Normally I wouldn't be into it, but this...
It felt old, but still modern.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So this story takes place before our robots in disguise make it to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Before the Autobots, before the Decepticons.
Yeah, but...
So it's more revolving around Energon cubes and Allspark on their home planet, right?
Yeah, this is on Cybertron. And this is before Orion ever even takes up the Optimus Prime mantle.
Okay.
So, we get an introduction. The main part of this story, there's two parts of this story involving, and each scenario is involving three characters. One of them being Rubble, which is a
newborn.
Yeah, he's a newborn.
The newest Transformer.
Right. And his mentor turns out to be Bumblebee. Bumblebee is on his way to take... I guess there's a total of 7 characters involved.
Well, there's no humans, right?
No humans.
Because it's all Cybertron.
All Cybertron.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, Bumblebee is on his way to take Rubble to see Brainstorm, so that he can kind of figure out what his place is going to be on Cybertron.
What form he's going to take.
Brainstorm is pretty much the Sorting Hat.
Okay.
So, yeah, and meanwhile... Windblade, she just like shows up and she's like, "Oh, I'm on my way."
I'll join you.
Yeah. So we get that whole scenario, which I found to be really cool. Without completely telling you, verbatim what's going on, it's a very big brother, little brother type of scenario. Like, oh no, this is what we do. And like you see Rubble like stumbling and fumbling, trying to get his new robot legs together. And meanwhile, Bumblebee's like, look, man, it's cool, dude. We live a long life. You got a lot of time to learn. We're on our way to brainstorm.
Yeah,
like
that's why we're walking.
But the thing is that like he is very punctual. So we gotta like show him that we're all about it. But at the same time, like he's not gonna force you anything you don't want to do. Like he's gonna make sure you find your place proper. And I just found like the tone of that whole story that I would normally be like, well, that's boring as shit. I was like, oh, this is interesting, man. This is cool. Maybe it's just because it's Bumblebee and
right.
a new Transformer. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of Rubble before? Is Rubble a new character?
The name sounds very familiar, honestly.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'll take a second to look it up while you two are discussing it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not the most educated on the Transformers,
Right.
but I liked it because it was a good mixture of characters I definitely know and a couple that I don't know. And if they're not new, it's a good introduction for me.
Right. The other half of this story, though, was Ironhide and Orion having, like, this conversation. They're like, so check it out, like, Megatron's about to roll up in here. And I don't think he's in a good mood, bro. Right. And, like,
he's new.
Yeah, baby, so we got a
Rubble
first appearance.
is, according to the Transformers TF wiki, he is a new Transformer from the 2019 IDW portion of Generation 1 continuity family.
First appearance, baby. That
cool.
means I should have gone out and got cover A and then... Shit. Alright. Well, that's awesome, though. So...
Yeah, I mean, and this was just added recently. I had the...
Oh, yeah.
I had
It'd
the
have
date
to
on
be
it,
because
anyways,
it came out last week. Hell yeah, man.
Well, it says that, like, Brian Ruckley actually was discussing the existence of Rubble as early as January of 2019 already.
Oh, well.
There's an interview on the Transformers wiki.
Gotcha. So he's been teased. You just threw him in the first issue right off the bat. I like how they started out the story. Like, new story, new character, baby. This is what we got. So let's go over to the other side. We got the whole... before we get to the end of the Bumble Rumble.
Yeah, we got Megatron and Orion talking.
Right.
Orion is, before he became Optimus Prime. And they're talking about a speech that Megatron is going to give, but they keep showing like this crowd of robots or Transformers talking about they're protesting for ascensions.
See, and in this whole conversation, I picture like Professor X and Magneto type of scenario. Like they're brothers, they're cool, but at the same time
they have a history.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But they're on opposite sides.
Right.
Steve Rogers and Stark.
And Ironhide just plays a cool kind of like third man in that situation. Like one of those scenarios is just like as Megatron's like, oh, I'm out. Ironhide's coming back in. You get like the shoulder shrug, and Ironhide's just like, not the success.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was pretty good.
I don't know, because I mean, I was gonna say, if you go off into the X-Men lore and you really think about X and Magneto, you would discuss. You would really kind of, depending on which one, you'd have to discuss. Depending on which rendition, you'd have to discuss. Are they doing the same ends through different means, or do they want different ends through the same means? And here it seems like Ironside wants totally different ends.
Oh, you mean Megatron?
Megatron. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know why I misspoke there.
Yeah. No, it's
Like, that's the thing, is, like, it always seemed like they kind of wanted the same ends through different means, except for that, multiple times where Magneto said no humans, but...
Right, exactly. Except for that whole thing.
But there were several times when he didn't.
Yeah, no, I get you there. Yeah, I don't know what the whole...
It kind of seems like a civil rights type of thing, where Megatron is, fighting for his people and for his things.
Yeah, what is Ascension?
I don't know.
Been covered yet.
I'm sure there are people who do know, but I'm still a little foggy on that.
At least as far as this series goes, it has not been covered.
I feel at this point
between like the security type of Transformers and like the working force.
Right.
And so it's like a different class.
Yeah, it could be like a whole unionizing type of thing. It could
Unfortunately, it seems like these kind of protests are inciting violence. So Orion, Optimus Prime, is trying to goad him into like, hey, I understand what you're trying to do. Maybe we can try to make this a little bit more peaceful.
Right.
And it just,
okay, then yeah, no,
Megatron's
absolutely.
more passionate. Like, no, I will not be silenced.
Absolutely, the X and Magneto description is apt.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, so at this point, you kind of like you get the tension out of the room, and then it jumps back to the Bumblebee and Rubble, and they arrive to Brainstorm. The only thing is
something ain't right.
Things is bad, yeah. Yeah, it's what did I see? Brainstorm. Rubble ends up finding Brainstorm, and he seems to be damaged. Possibly. No, he's not dead. No, he moved.
Looks pretty beat up though.
No, he's messed up for sure.
Seen better days.
So bad stuff happened.
Yep.
So and then we get this.
Who's this other blue guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I would actually say that if you're someone that has always been interested in Transformers, but you weren't around in the 80s and just you feel like it's overwhelming to try to learn everything Transformers, I like how they started this out as a Transformers story before Earth is ever even involved.
Agreed.
We're getting origins I mean, obviously you're not going to get the origin of all of them, but...
There's really one thing I really want out of the Transformers story is I want to know what are the things they transformed into before they had to disguise themselves for humans.
Right, and I think what we're going to see real quick is, just based off this teaser cover we see another Transformer that we're not familiar with, and she's got wheels and stuff on her, so you kind of get an idea that she's transforms into something.
They're still vehicles, but I think maybe we'll see like a little bit more alien, a little bit more futuristic, design.
It'll be very interesting.
I'm very intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued.
Yeah, this is for anybody who's into Transformers, whether you're an old fan, new fan.
And I'll definitely say that they went the distance on the artwork, internal and external.
Did not disappoint.
It's amazing. I actually exceeded my expectations way more than.
Well, I mean, I honestly, when you said that there was a new Transformers comic coming out, I kind of expected. I have an old couple of Micronauts comics, and I just kind of expected that exact thing, is because Micronauts and Transformers, if you look at the designs, are very, very, very similar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I get you there. Yeah, no, this was, I didn't expect that book. It delivered. For sure.
What's good?
More Image. So we're rounding out a four-part series that I've been talking about since the beginning. We got Spawn Kills Everyone 2, number 4. Todd McFarlane and Will Robson. Oh boy. This book is oh man. It's a shit fest, like literally. There's just so much shitting going on in this book.
Literally.
Yeah. Alright, so Clownos has the Infinity Gauntlet -1 Infinity Stone. And from here on out is his mission to try to finish off Spawn. In the wackiest form of events possible that Todd McFarlane's brain could come up with, he put all the remaining stuff that he didn't put in the first 3 issues in this one. Continues to kill off mostly the Justice League, maybe snaps a Yopsha's head. So, yeah, no. And then, long story short,
okay, how did
Baby Spawn prevails.
How did the Violator and Thanos come together?
Clownos, bro.
Yeah, how?
Oh, it's a comic book.
Yeah, but how?
I think they're ripping on the Infinity Warps.
Yes, that's very possible.
Well, no, I get that, but how?
The Infinity Warps.
Yeah, I can't explain this one, Mason. I'm gonna have to leave that one up to everyone else to decide. I don't know. I'm
gonna go ahead and say that the Violator somehow convinced Thanos to sell him his soul, and the Violator just took over Thanos, and that'll make me keep myself a little bit more sane at night.
That could be what happened. They didn't say that didn't happen, if that makes you feel any better.
Well, this is what I think happened, and I oblige everyone to follow what I think.
We know.
So, do as I say and as I do.
I can't do both.
Yes.
You could totally rub your stomach in a circular motion and pat your head at the same time.
I could. I ain't gonna.
Oh man. So yeah, no, this book turned out, the hero prevails, all because the little baby spawns decided to paint themselves like Infinity Stones and hide themselves into the gauntlet when Clownos wasn't looking. And when you try to go snap with little baby spawns and they're painted like M&Ms, the same thing doesn't happen that Infinity Stone would cause, or 6 of them for that matter. So, yeah, and that's how Spawn wins.
That makes total sense.
All right.
Based off how this story went, I don't think it could have ended any differently.
Yeah.
Than just the wackiest, fucking goofiest way possible.
It was a weird start, and it sounds like a weird ending.
Oh no, it got weirder as it went on, man. There wasn't as many cameos as in this one. Like, we saw Green Lantern, a Predator, or Yepcha, and Flash all get their faces busted in. Other than that, that was pretty much it. It was mostly about Spawn having second thoughts about his little baby spawns and going to retrieve them after all. And
Yep.
yeah, so
I mean, anytime you shart Thanos to death.
oh my god, the fucking scene was ridiculous.
Yep.
Oh man, let's move on to something
Murder Falcon.
a little more metal. Murder Falcon number
All right.
6.
Exciting.
Image Comics. Yes, Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer are back. Golly, I almost wish this was weekly. I do wish.
I would be sold. Yeah.
Oh man. I think it's actually safe to say this is my favorite comic right now. Definitely.
Mason, this is the best comic you're not reading.
I'm sure.
So good. So we get Helmder in front of the band that is Bruticus explaining, look, I want to join your band, yeah, and check out
My band from Sweden.
Yes.
We got killed, except for me.
Yep, they're all dead. Except for him, he's the remaining one, him and his boy Oslug. Murder Falcon vouches for Oslug immediately. He's like, dude, if there's anybody that like we should be stoked to have on our team, it's
Oslug's
the fact
the man.
Oslug is solid. And boy,
he is like the coolest design in the whole comic.
Yep. Oh yeah, man. So after the whole introduction, Helmdor looks over at the VCR tape that they see, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you know the way."
Yeah, you know what I know.
So they're like, "All right, let's go there," and they go to what they, what do they call the horn? The Horn of the Dead.
Horn of the Dead, right?
So yeah, now they have like their ship captain taking them there, so they have to get there by boat. And then as soon as the ship captain drops them off, you instantly see some fuckeries about to be afoot.
Yeah, gets on the radio like, they're here.
They're here. Bum, bum, bum. Check out the fucking Horn of the Dead, dude.
I see that.
So as soon as they arrive, like I said, we get immediately the double cross with the ship captain. And they sense Magnum Chaos is there waiting for them. It's a trap. And yeah, so they have to bust out the jams, and god damn, they have to get through this array of like tentacle type of
army of these wormy tentacle monsters. Yeah.
They're trying to block the entrance to the Horn of the Dead. Meanwhile, Magnum Chaos really just wants Jake, because Jake has the way to get in, the answers to that, the key.
He knows the riff.
Yes. So yeah, no, so it's Magnum Chaos is trying to split Jake up from the rest of the band. Turns out to be successful at one point. When they get split up, Jake's girl gets teamed up with Helmdor. And like one thing I forgot to mention that I guess is kind of important. On the boat ride out there, Helmdor and Anne, Jake's girl.
Yep.
There's like a lot of not respect going on.
There's a little bit of tension there. Right. She approaches Heimdall like, hey, I know it may not seem like it, but I know what you're going through. How would you know? You don't even play an instrument. Why are you here? You're useless.
You're not even rock and roll.
Yep.
But yeah, so once they get split up and they realize like, oh shit, it's up to us, we get this moment of definitely the most awesome moment in the book. Definitely. When he it's so good. He hands him the fucking. He's like, well, do you want to be a band member? And she's like, well, I don't play an instrument. He's like, oh, you.
Bruticus needs a frontman or woman.
She's like, well, I don't sing. It's like, who says you need to sing? Look at this, Mason. Oh wait, I missed it. That was supposed to be way cooler. She unleashes her beast, man. Just a scream, just a roar. With the tears and the emotion, like the way that was drawn was so perfect.
Very powerful.
And it's enough to just blast through that first wave of tentacles that's needed for...
Brutal.
Oh man, that's enough for Helmdar and oh shit, what's his dude's name? Oh, I forget.
Aslan?
Aslan. Yeah, that scream is enough for Helmdar and Aslan to get through.
Break through the ranks and grab Jake's guitar that got smashed and get it back to Jake.
Yeah, Magnum Chaos breaks Jake's guitar.
He smashes his guitar,
and Murder
Falcon
Murph. He goes down.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's up with Murph at this point.
Is Murph out for a while?
Yeah.
Aslan and what's his name?
Helmdar,
they're gone. They sacrificed themselves to get that back.
They did. That was their last moves, to go back and get that broken guitar, because they know that Jake needs Murph.
Yep.
To get through there.
Murph
needs that guitar.
is a secret to stopping him.
Yep. I think Murph's arm's the key, and I think even Magnum Chaos.
Yeah, when they show
mentions that one time, it's like, I want your chicken's arm.
Yeah, pretty much. Because they show his arm as this weird robotic key.
But then, as if that's not all enough, we realize that this book is so much more than metal. Because you turn the page, and as the band realizes that Helmdar is gone.
Right. Their boat is gone too. The captain's gone. But then he comes back.
And we see Shohei Takeshi. Shohei Takeshi.
Japanese symphonic symphony. Yeah.
There we go. Something like that.
So
it's not rock and roll, man.
I think the captain wasn't radioing Magnum Chaos. I think he was radioing this guy.
You think so?
I think so. Because it's the same captain. It's like that's who he was really calling.
Oh, shit, you're right. Oh, I didn't notice that was the same captain on there. I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Good call, man. Yeah, no, so you realize how broad this story could be at this point. They could bring in all aspects of music.
Any genre they want.
Any genre, man, could help defeat Magnum Chaos.
I mean, the violin is very, very well placed, because you have a lot of genres of metal that have that. I mean, just coming to mind is Flesh God Apocalypse.
That was the last thing I saw coming at this point.
I want to know who his musical Digimon is.
Oh, Digimon.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they remind me of. You know, it's a monster creature from another dimension tied to this instrument.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait for...
it makes me think of... I think I've brought it up before. Like the stands from JoJo, which is everybody has a weird spirit attached to them.
Yeah. Same diff.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any more indie comics that I missed?
None that I think I'm equipped to talk about, no.
Alright, cool. Well, that was a strong week for indies for sure, man. Heavy week.
Yes.
And there was like 4 or 5 more I didn't even talk about. But yeah.
But moving on to DC, I say we start with Red Hood.
Red Hood the Outlaw.
We do have Red Hood Outlaw. We've got part 1 of The Prince of Gotham. The story is written by Scott Lobdell, art done by Steven Segovia, and the colors done by Rex Locus.
Yes.
So the new team, I think. We start off on... Jason Todd is back in Gotham. And he is on an interview on the local news because he is the new owner of the Iceberg Lounge. That's right, He is now the proud owner of Penguin's old casino.
That's crazy.
Of course, you know, it sounds like he's gearing up for his Outlaws team again. We already know he had Wingman, and we know he had Bunker.
Okay.
But now he's also hired the Sioux Sisters, which would be, I believe, Susie, Anastasia, Knight, and I'm forgetting one. Just a moment. And Candy.
Okay.
And Blanc.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've got kind of a new team. There's eyes and ears in the casino. They're having their pulse to the criminal underground. Well, during this interview, guess who is watching? None other than Alfred himself.
Oh, man.
So now, Bruce knows that Jason Todd is back in Gotham. And it's not long before Jason Todd is alone in his office, and who is he visited by? None other than Batman. Batman's already threatening him. You know, I said, stay out of Gotham. What you did was messed up. You shot Penguin in the face. He doesn't deny it. He just says that Penguin cornered himself, and he took advantage of it.
Son of a bitch.
It's like, well, what are you going to do, Batman? You going to handcuff me? You gonna turn your son? You going to explain to him why you're turning your son into Arkham? Hey, while I'm in Arkham, maybe I'll share a cell with our friend Joker.
Oh, man.
And Batman leaves just angry. Jason Todd's like, I think that went well. I think that went well.
He would.
And he's just talking about how, hey, he didn't lie. Penguin did put himself in the corner, and Jason Todd did take advantage. And we've got this awesome scene of behind the aquarium, you've got the Penguin banging on the glass. He can see everything.
Oh,
So
snap.
he is
Not
trapped.
dead.
Not dead.
So for this being a new artistic team, that's still a pretty solid.
Oh, the art is good.
Oh,
definitely.
the art's definitely great in there. I just think that's funny, though, that Batman thinks Penguin is dead. And
See, I don't know, because they talk about in issue 24 how Jason Todd is accused of shooting Penguin in the face. I didn't read issue 24. I picked this up at issue 25. I guess I should go back and do a little research, maybe. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, folks out there, but I believe the Penguin is believed to be dead.
Okay.
Well, that's what it seemed like with Batman's accusations there. It's the only thing Batman would have against anyone doing anything is killing someone else.
Yeah, I mean.
So if he didn't believe that Jason Todd killed him, then I don't think he'd actually have a problem with him.
I mean, I know that Batman's never liked the vigilante anti-hero that Red Hood is, but he doesn't like his methods because he is
Batman's
brutal.
the same.
Oh yeah,
well,
he's
Batman is the same in many regards, though, just
But
not.
Red Hood will use a gun.
Yes, this is true. Well, Batman will too, but that's variance and
alternate
reality.
Let's talk about that. How about the Grim Knight #1?
Batman with guns.
Batman with
great
guns.
Segue.
Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Eduardo Risi, and Dave Stewart. The Jock cover is amazing. There's also an incredible variant to this as well. So this is a tie-in to the Batman Who Laughs story, and as we all know in the Metal story, the Grim Knight was introduced, and a lot of people consider the Grim Knight to be the most dangerous alternate version of Batman because he is the Batman that, let's say, back in that alley that I think everyone's heard that story once or twice. Well, let's just say that little Bruce picks up the gun after his parents are murdered, and he decides to shoot that fucker in the face.
Yep.
Well, you get a whole different kind of Batman in this reality.
You get a vengeful, violent Batman.
Right, but this is not just a Batman that uses guns. He uses his resources more than anything, and that's what this book flexes. It's showing what Bruce Wayne, not Batman, Bruce Wayne is capable of doing to control the city without realizing what's going on. Everything's run under Wayne Enterprises. If Bruce Wayne wants to use his tech to just completely take out a car, like make it veer off a bridge, he can do that.
Yep.
When no one will know any different.
Oh, it's a malfunction.
Yep, exactly. And even then, he would find out a way to make it non-traceable back to him.
Right.
So it's just showing that. But then you realize that throughout all this, you see, well, every Batman has to have a bad guy. Well, in this alternate reality, it's not a Joker. It's Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon is the son of a bitch that's just the bane of Bruce Wayne's existence. Wow. Yeah. So the opening scene to this book is Batman taking this mysterious hooded figure through the sewers, and if you've been reading Batman Who Laughs, you know that the tie to the sewers would be Jim Gordon's son is pretty much the guy that is in charge of designing the sewers under Gotham, or the guy running the sewers under Gotham. Like he knows the sewers under Jim's son knows the sewers under Gotham more than anything, and that was explained in the Batman Who Laughs #2. So this is all tied in. This isn't just a complete one-shot, which I love. And then throughout all this, you realize that the Batman Who Laughs is the one kind of motivating the Grim Knight through all of this. And when the Grim Knight, when you realize this hooded figure, who he is at the end of all, I said that great, is Jim Gordon, Grim Knight goes to pull the trigger, and then probably maybe my favorite panel of the week, I don't know, I can't say that for certain, but you see the Batman Who Laughs finger come out and stop the trigger, the hammer from firing. Right there. Just that tiny little panel there. And he's like, check it out. We're gonna, because they are in our universe at this point, trying to take out our Jim Gordon.
Right.
So Jim Gordon has no idea. He's like, dude, I don't know you, bro.
Why is Batman attacking me?
Right. Well, he clearly knows it's not that Batman, because, like, he's, like, they actually gave him, like, the Frank Miller Dark Knight chin, which I really love throughout this. Yeah. So this is, I hope that they stick with this distinction, like, right there. If that doesn't say Frank Miller Dark Knight.
I like that because, like, this is
it's
like
even the same costume, almost, without the color scheme, but yeah.
It's like a Punisher-style Batman.
It is. It is, pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. And then you realize that, this isn't a Grim Knight story. This is still very much a Batman Who Laughs story, and he's using the Grim Knight to fuck with Jim Gordon to get to Batman.
Yeah. Stand a pawn.
He's like, Grim Knight's like, do you think I would let him just kill you like that? Come on, bro. That's not how I roll. It's gonna be so much worse than that. And yeah, no, this book was dope. There's a lot of hype around this book for great reason. The art in it is amazing. This isn't like if you guys look at that, like you could see, like it's almost like every panel's painted. Like there's like a dimension to it all. Like and it kind of varies throughout as far as like the color patterns go and designs.
It's a very watercolor type.
Oh, I forgot the craziest part of this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go for it.
The darkest part about this book isn't even the Jim Gordon thing. There's a point in time where while Bruce Wayne is in the Batcave and Alfred approaches him and he's like, you know what? I don't know if I could like be a part of all this anymore. It's like right after a scene where he like throws a car off a bridge or whatever. Alfred's like, I can't do this anymore. Grim Knight's, as Alfred's walking away, like he without even a second thought, Grim Knight like pushes his button and implies that he just like takes out Alfred just for disagreeing with him. After all of those years,
gone.
like he's like, you've been around a while, and
my faithful servant, but disagree, you're gone.
But sorry, if you're gonna disagree with me, you're probably the enemy at this point. So no, this dude is
not the Batman we know and love.
Dog, it's crazy. I wish I could find. Oh yeah, that's the panel right there. Like that whole page is Alfred approaching, and that's great podcast talk. Let me just show you. But yeah. It's oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Activate the implant in my neck and kill me now.
Yep.
I love you always, but I'm done.
Yep. You don't technically see him push the button, but it sure does look like. And then just I'm Batman.
Well, I think here we show him. It's like he's almost pushing the button, but then in the background we still have Alfred walking away.
Yeah, he's still in the doorway. Even afterwards, still standing upright.
I guess
if he had pushed the button, I would have assumed they'd have him. Like, this position is not really changed.
Right, he's still walking away.
I guess it's not really, no. I just wanted to think that I don't
I'm
see
happy
it.
about that,
I mean,
though. I like Alfred.
It's still ambiguous. I'll give you that. It is ambiguous.
Oh, yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole book. I almost forgot about it. But, yeah, anytime Alfred's involved.
Yeah.
I thought this book, like, at this point, I'm sure the listeners know that I'm very skeptical about Snyder Works. I'm very skeptical about Tynion the Fourth Works. I'm even more skeptical about when the two work together because I think it's just too much of brilliance coming together, and it's too much for my brain to handle. This was actually well paced. I don't think there was anything like, I don't think I got that. Like I said, I might have misinterpreted the Alfred thing.
But that happens.
Yeah, but I mean, nevertheless, I think it was a very well-told story, and I'm glad that the Grim Knight is canon, and this is awesome.
It sounds like you enjoyed this one.
Dude, I did. Way more than I expected to, that's for sure.
Nice.
Moving along.
Sticking with DC.
Yeah, Superman number 9, Brian Michael Bendis, Ivan Reis, Brendan Peterson, Joe Prado, Eau Claire Albert, and the great Alex Sinclair, covered by Prado, Reis, and Sinclair. So, real quick, this is still more of Superboy telling his story to his parents. They're in the, what do they call that place that Superman resides?
The... Citadel? No.
No.
Not the Fortress of Solitude?
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy who doesn't read knows it.
Well, yeah. So they're in the Fortress of Solitude, and John's continuing to explain his time out with Gramps. Where it left off last time, there was this black hole. John was separated, and he saw the Future Crime Syndicate or whatever. So yes, and that's where our story picks up. This time, John, he sees it's not Superman, it's what is it, Ultraman. And he immediately gets
Ultraman.
Yeah.
Not Japanese Ultraman.
No.
Okay. I was like, Ultraman? No way. That'd be the most ambitious crossover I've ever heard of. Please, let us have... DC, if you're listening, please, let us have the Japanese Ultraman mix over. Please, just once, like...
Justice League
actually,
Ultraman.
you know what? Fuck you, DC. It wouldn't work for you. Put it in Marvel, because Ultraman needs to fight Ant-Man, because they both increase and shrink in size. Let's get Ultraman versus Ant-Man. Sorry.
Oh, you're so
sorry.
excited.
I am. Dude, I love my Japanese kaijus.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, Superman Ultraman. So the Crime Syndicate is, as you can see, is this alternate version of Justice League.
Yep.
You see, his U looks like an Uberman.
Uberman. Yeah, that's a whole different country.
Uberman.
So, well, John gets this sense from Ultraman. He's like, oh, yeah, you kind of, like, remind me of someone, bro. For lack of better words. And Ultraman uses that to his benefit. He's like, oh, yeah, no, come with me. Like, whether you like it or not. And he pretty much imprisons John on this volcanic island where there's no yellow sun. So John's powers are very limited at this point. And I'm not... really, it looks like the whole motivation behind all this is Ultraman is super fucking lonely. And this is...
He just wants a friend.
Kind of, but he's a prick. He's a prick.
He just wants a friend, but he's got to abduct his friend.
You can see, he's like, oh, no, be my friend. No!
He's the kind of guy who says, oh, yeah, you want directions to this place? I'll give you directions to my house. See you in half an hour, best friend.
Kind of, I mean, he's not quite as creepy, but yeah. He's manipulative, for sure. So the pretty much the whole premise of this story at this point is John's escape from this volcanic prison. And what it comes down to is he waits for Superman to have a good old cry. Really? Ultraman, my bad. Ultraman, my bad.
Cry it out, man. Cry it out.
Yeah, to have a good old cry. And then he takes his last bit of powers that he's been saving up. And he's like, you know what, screw it. And he does this thing that allows him to not be there anymore in some fashion. And
he blows a giant hole in it and uses the momentum.
So he makes his way to he goes from the volcano to what do they call that city? Denver.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. No, not once.
But this universe is Denver. And he was like, oh, well, this universe has got to have like a Hall of Justice,
It's
right?
got to be named after John, right?
So, well, unfortunately, it doesn't end up that the Hall of Justice is in Denver. He just starts in Denver. And he makes his way throughout his journey. And it's a quick journey because he does end up at the Hall of Justice. But this Hall of Justice is just as shit dog because we get Superwoman of the Crime Syndicate that he calls Mom.
No.
And so that you see the teaser at the bottom of the final page is Superboy versus Mother to the death. And yeah, no, I thought this book was a lot of fun. I like the whole. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if the journey of Superboy continues to tell his journey for 3 or 4 more issues because all of these have been fun. I like that they added in the fact that he thought the whole time that Jor-El would have shown up by then.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, like, maybe Jor-El really don't give a shit. Or
maybe these are trials and tribulations for Superboy to go through before he's ready to accept the mantle.
Yeah, he's clearly... Yeah, he's clearly methodically telling his parents this story. Like, he's not just like, oh my god, look what happened. He's like, no, calm down. Like, there's even a point where they're in the Fortress of Solitude where Lois is like, do you guys need to go, like, punch some asteroids or something?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we gotta save that for later. Because, I mean, that's referring back to...
when Superman went up to guys at frustration on some asteroids.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, no, I can't just punch asteroids.
I can't just destroy them because that could have butterfly effects.
Right.
Punch this asteroid and 10 fucking planets get hit by the little meteorites and it destroys them.
And then just ever so conveniently, as they even describe in that issue, like a bad guy shows up. He was like, "Oh yeah, and I was like the Destroyer or something." I was like, "Oh, perfect! I'll just beat the shit out of the Destroyer." So yeah, that's what that whole thing was.
It's just very convenient right here.
Ooh, an alien invasion, perfect. So.
Thanks.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Dude, I know I probably talk about this every time the name Superman comes up. For the new listeners, I didn't like Superman pre-podcast. I didn't like Superman pre-Brian Michael Bendis.
I've honestly, not been a fan of Superman, and a lot of the things you brought up in the podcast have made me a lot more intrigued in the character and the ways that the story could be told, because, I've always just gotten the classic faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive.
Yeah.
I've always seen Superman as I'm a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, because he has to be the symbol of hope, so you can't give him a personality. It's just, yeah.
Well, now that his family is a thing and all of that, like, that's pretty much his weakness, even more than Kryptonite.
This sounds great.
This
sounds like good
And
story.
even in Action Comics, like, Brian Michael Benton's still telling Action Comics version of Superman.
Right.
And it's awesome. The Leviathan story is about to be dope. I'm glad that I'm jumping on that, too. Yeah, no, but, so, Superman is a whole lot of fun. There's just... so much story to be told. We know that John's getting more and more powerful than he's perceiving himself to be. I wouldn't be surprised that's not your sirens behind you guys.
Those are on our end.
Those are ours. It's sorry. Maybe if I talk louder than the sirens.
Power through.
Superboy, I think Brian Michael Bendis might even be so bold as to, within a few issues, this is complete speculation, but maybe show that Superboy might even somehow be more powerful than Superman now that he's gone through all of these dimensions and everything. I don't know. I think that's a bold statement, and I could possibly really be reaching on that one. But I really think that Superboy has seen some shit that's about to blow everybody's mind.
That's a pretty standard trope of, the young kid surpassing his master parent.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's that. It seems like Superboy is just really seeing a bunch of shit that's really setting him up for having a future of being able to handle the things that Superman has handled.
Sure.
Like, Superman had, a very... I won't say perfect, but he had a very basic childhood where he was raised into things.
Very sheltered.
And then
fucking Kansas.
And then all of a sudden he's just hammered and hammered and hammered
Moves to the big city.
Yeah, new shit happening and Zod coming down and all of the other shit that happens in his life.
Finding out he's an alien.
Yeah, so maybe he's just like, I've got to save this kid from that. I've got to save him from that sheltered Chuck.
Yeah, no, that's
kind of what happened. His son went off with his wife with his estranged father, and they explored the galaxy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Superman. But basically, I'm just saying there is a possibility for it being a purposeful exposure to save him from that sudden shock coming out of a very sheltered childhood.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think that's a great point. I was never let alone anything super anything, but I never thought that I'd be a fan of Superboy ever.
Right.
But
sure,
I'm very intrigued. It kind of makes me want to jump into these younger teen books that DC's putting out now, because I think Superboy's about to be in one of them.
Well, I think one of the things that really allows me to lend my ear and my eyes to that kind of story is basically one of the things I've discussed with you multiple times, which is Miracle Man. Not Mr. Miracle, Miracle Man, formerly known as Marvel Man, which one of his... So, in the original story from the 1960s, Marvel Man, Miracle Man, whatever, has Marvel Man Jr. and Kid Marvel.
Okay.
And Marvel Man Jr. is the teenage version, and Kid Marvel is the other version, is like the kid version, And...
Username checks out.
Yeah, exactly. But when he finally gets his powers back, you find out that Marvel Man Jr. has gone through some crazy shit and become a crazy guy.
Gotcha.
Like one of your first introductions to Marvel Man Jr., spoilers, one of your first introductions to Marvel Man Jr. is he literally burns the eyes out of his fucking secretary, burns her brain out of her skull with laser vision because he's just in that kind of mood at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you talk back to me. Fucking melted brain.
Oh yeah, they're already hinting that John's coming back super fucking powerful, so it makes me wonder. I just imagine his stability at this point, everything he's gone through at such a young age.
Like exactly, that's what I'm saying, is you put a kid into that kind of scenario, and especially with superpowers, they may come out warped.
Like, he was gone 4 months in Earth time, but he aged 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
So, like...
a lot of his childhood gone.
Yeah.
Right. Superman didn't bond with his boy during that time.
Yeah, he's almost too old to be a Teen Titan at this point. Like, he was
17, right?
Huh?
Yeah, they
Like
maybe
17, right?
He would be 19 at
I
this
mean,
point, I think.
I'd like to
Maybe,
think
I don't
for
know,
the
maybe
character of
17.
John that they're gonna really try to lean towards, a good guy, but you never know. It may end up creating a psychopath.
Or anti-hero.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, you know what? A Superman anti-hero.
That could be fun.
That could be a lot of fun.
We've seen Injustice.
Well,
but
and we've
let's
seen
see
what...
No, but Injustice isn't canon.
And we're
No,
going to see what the Superman psychopath is going to end up like with Brightburn. That looks freaking great.
Oh, man. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. I can't wait to do that.
That's Superman psychopath, is it not?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bizarro world. I don't know. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about Brightburn when we go see it.
For sure. Do you have any more DC books to talk about?
I think that'll cover it.
Yeah, no, I think that about does it. So let's move on to Marvel, shall we?
Marvel!
Alright. So I think it's only appropriate that we start out with the Magnificent Miss Marvel, #1, Saladin Ahmed, Minkyu Jung, Juan Blasco, and Ian Herring.
Why do we need a Miss Marvel and a Captain Marvel?
Well, here's the deal. I don't know if we do. But...
But we got it.
All right.
And
then there's Marvel.
Well, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. So,
And if they ever actually adopted Alan Moore's work, then we'd have Marvel Man.
Possibly. But in the meantime...
Sorry, go on.
We have a reboot, if you will. G. Willow Wilson's run is done through 35 or 36 issues, something like that. It went on for a long time. So this is legacy numbering 58 at this point. So I think this is volume 3 now is what this starts for Miss Marvel.
Okay.
Kamala Khan. It's,
Shaka Khan.
yeah, not quite.
Aw.
Similar, though.
Let me rock you, Shaka
Just
Khan.
kidding. So I actually like the way the story's told. I think if it wasn't for the opening narration in the beginning, the story wouldn't be as intriguing to somebody like myself who is not a fan of Miss Marvel at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have never found...
Not once.
Not once. I've never found a story that involves... Or a Miss Marvel story, not necessarily her at another team or anything like that, but through the volumes of Miss Marvel that I've read...
It's not something you'd want to do a solo run where it's focused on her.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet, because it's been very like it's a teenage girl in school trying to figure out homework and being a champion type of thing. And it's like it's like Silver Age Spider-Man. And a lot of people compare it to Miss Marvel to the new Silver Age Spider-Man. And I can understand why she has such a following, because Silver Age Spider-Man isn't a thing anymore. So people need that teenage character to relate to.
Silver Age Spider-Man really just had a quirk to it as far as the dialogue structure, the art structure, everything.
Right, and Kamala Khan is a somewhat witty, fun character to listen to.
But at the same friendly neighborhood Miss Marvel?
You're of New Jersey. That's exactly what she is. She is your friendly neighborhood New Jersey Miss Marvel. Okay. And this is... So, it starts out... in another world, the far future, we see this alien race telling the story of Miss Marvel. It's a father and son type of deal. It's a bedtime story.
Right.
And they're going on to... And this is the more interesting part of the story, is as they describe the story, the actual goings and ons of what's happening doesn't relate to how they portray Miss Marvel. He's telling the kid about how everybody adored Miss Marvel, and everything she said was completely... Everyone went by what she said, and...
Well, as much legends go with a lot of characters, though.
And then the way it's told is, like, her friend's mad at her, and she's got all this stuff going on, and it starts out by saying that, we all know that her mom is the only person in her family that knows her secret.
Okay.
Well, she comes home, and the book starts out that her mom gave in and told her dad. And her dad is forbidding at this point. And You
can't be a superhero?
Exactly. He's like, I'm sorry, we're putting our foot down. This is whatever.
Because that's something that you can regulate. We found that out with Jubilee and X-Men.
Well, and then, they instantly show that she's like, peace, I don't care what you say. Like, I gotta save New Jersey, dog, like monsters on the way.
Well, and to be fair, Yep. With Jubilee, it really was... oh, Sentinels are coming and ripping the roof off of your home and coming to get you.
Well,
Jubilee had no choice. She had to go.
Well, dude, this is, I wouldn't say, but this is what's happening. She just gets in this fight with their family. She's like, I forbid you. And she's like, the bad guy beeper, I gotta go. And she shows up and she's like handling stuff, and then she realizes that,
So
these interdimensional beings that are coming down, as soon as she'll go to like punch him like she normally would, and then she turns into this blue glue, or they turn into this blue goo, and she'd be like, I didn't hit him that hard. And then it happens one more time. This like interdimensional alien comes down, and she like throws it against a wall, and she's like, splat. And she's like, oh shit. Well, then it turns out that she's like, uh-oh, I have a bad, like, you see, these are the guys she's fighting here. She throws them again,
Blue werewolf-looking guys.
Like, the blue goo.
Huh.
And then she gets it, she's like, oh, shit. The last bad guy signal beeper thingy that went off came from my house. And then she shows up, she runs to her house real quick. And at first, it seems like everything is cool. And then she goes to hug him, and then blue goo. So you think that, maybe she's the one, maybe she's got this, like, virus or something that's causing things she's touched to turn to blue goo or whatever.
No.
What do you get out of this?
I totally get out of that. It's a classic mob mentality of attack against the family. You hit the family, and then if you actually have taken them out before the person gets there, the emotional damage is that much more, and you basically have them in your hands to manipulate at that point.
Dude, if they kill off Kamala's family, which has been pretty much the Kamala's sidekick as far as like hero books go, Kamala's family has been as much a part of Kamala's story throughout comics, which I will say is why I don't read Miss Marvel comics. So, if they kill off her family to give that dark, brooding, oh shit, whatever factor right off the bat, the Uncle Ben, whatever, if you will.
Maybe I
would be so on board with this book. I mean, that sounds super dark of me, but that could be the deciding factor for me to say, for one, Saladin Ahmed is writing it, and he's already proven me wrong once with Miles Morales. It's my second favorite Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
So that was, normally I might not have even tried this story if it wasn't for him convincing me with Miles.
Right.
But being this is the same type of diverse teenage type of whatever, but just in a different realm. I mean, it gave me faith that this could happen. And if this is indeed the fall of Kamala's parents to start like this quote unquote Batman type of whatever, then I would be fully on board. Even if not, and then they all come back to life and everything's good, I think I'm still okay with this, because I like the way it was paced out. I like the way the aliens were narrating the story the whole time.
I think very much like these monsters, these alien things, were very much manufactured, and they weren't meant to be durable. As soon as they're hit, they go down.
Absolutely.
I think it's the same thing with the family.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the family, though, it's you've got two scenarios. Number one is the family has been abducted.
Yep.
Number two is that the family has actually been killed. And this is my bias, as you saw when we went to go see Alita, characters can be killed off just like that.
Instant.
In animes and in manga, characters can they're gone. You're dead.
It would
Sorry,
just be
goodbye.
so gnarly, because you get this whole, I mean, it's almost cliche in a way, but through everything that this character's ever been, her family is the second part of it. And then
I'm a special teenage girl, but I'm trying to be normal. But my family's been so supportive the whole time.
And she leaves on a bad note, like,
and that's something that I am used to in anime. There are multiple times in anime and manga where they leave on a bad note with the family, they come back, and the family's just been fucking destroyed.
Dude, if Marvel takes that turn with the character
I'll be proud
of
Marvel, honestly.
Oh, not only would I be proud, like, this could become, it has potential to become a favorite of mine. To take a character and do a complete 180
and just
take everything
dark.
I don't like about the character, take it out, and then put on an amazing...
Do you think we're going to get this, like, angsty...
Well, they're not just taking it out.
That's what she's been the whole time.
But that's the thing, is they're not just taking it out, they're turning it into a motivation, is what it seems like. If what I'm thinking is the direction
Dude,
they're
her
going...
family's been her anchor. She can only be a champion because her family won't let her be a... She's Avenger capable, for
here's
sure.
Just a little prediction
really
material, just because of the way I've seen things go through comics, manga, a lot of the media that I've exposed myself to. They can definitely abduct the family and then kill them in front of her.
Well,
You never know that might happen. Even they can. The family could be already dead, or they could be abducted and they get killed in front of her, or they give her the grand moment of classic Marvel of, oh, you get to save everyone you care about.
right.
But I mean,
I don't
we
think
have
we'll get
seen.
that.
Well, here's the thing: is we have seen, even with as early as Stan Lee telling us the story of Gwen Stacy, you can kill them yourself on accident,
Sure.
trying to save them. You can kill them yourself.
No.
Sure.
Well, and that's, I mean, that kind of looks like that's what we're getting out of that, which brings me back to the Spider-Man thing, which kind of, I think this is all an homage in a way.
What if that was her real family, but they had been turned into this blue goo, and they were just that susceptible? Now, that's probably one of the further out options,
Yeah.
but still, I would, once again, it would be one of the things I would be proud of for storytelling if you are able to take something that your reader's expecting something else, and you're just like, no, seriously, they're fucking dead. Like, they just died. They're done.
Possible, but I also like Brian's theory about the whole the blue goo Midas touch. That could be
Oh
interesting.
yeah, absolutely.
Well,
where she has a virus that is in her now.
That was the pattern.
Instead of turning everything into gold, that she just turned something into blue
goo.
goo.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Right. So I don't know. It's the fact is that we've had so much of a conversation on a book that I didn't think that I would give, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I didn't think I'd give 2 goddamn squirts of shit about.
And it's in the middle of your stack.
Yeah, no, that's what I decided to start Marvel's topic discussion this week with, because I thought it was such a strong number one. I don't know what it is about the word Marvel all of a sudden. The Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, everything, all of the recipes things that I should
recognition.
hate. And then all of a sudden, it's all coming together. The things that I'm like suddenly okay with.
Turning your opinion on.
Right.
Well, because that's something you will do well if you are actually any kind of company producing media of any sort. Is take your
I'm
name
the right fan, is what you're saying.
But that
Yes,
doesn't
exactly.
happen all the time. I mean, a lot
No.
of times
No, it doesn't.
They're quick to disappoint.
No.
So.
Well, I mean, if you go back and you look at that issue that I was showing you a few weeks ago, the Marvel, where it was the DC Marvel crossover, quote unquote, where Batman had 3 ears / horns on him.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of see where it's just the marketing aspect comes into play, and it's how can we manipulate what we have already?
Oh, totally, man. Totally. I dig it. Is what it comes down to, I think. I very much.
I honestly, from one of the books that I've never even read, seeing you skim through it got me a lot more interested than I'm actually.
Dude, I'm gonna say
the
50%
of the books that you've already shown me in this stack, that one got me interested more than I thought I would be.
Yeah, man, and the art's incredible as well.
Well, I think it's simply just the open-endedness of the ending there really lends itself to what you would call water cooler discussion.
But out of, I think the most I'm gonna just 10 more seconds on this thing. The fact that it still entailed all the things I don't like about the book, with it being such a heavy family book, and it still came out to be enjoyable.
Family tied, but in a way you didn't expect.
Exactly. Like secrets out right off the bat. Like it was just, here's number 1, bitches.
So how disappointed are you going to be if next issue she finds them, saves them, and it's all good again?
We'll see how it's told.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not off of this book. Like I thought it was going to be one and done.
It could come down to finds them and they kill them right in front of her.
You never know, man. Anything could happen.
Or she becomes the reason for their death.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen, if anything.
All right, so Brian has that she has reason for their death. I am voting for that they kill them in front of her. And what's your vote, Justin?
I think they'll be fine.
You think they'll be fine?
All
right.
A happy ending.
Honestly, I want mine to go through, but I think Justin's probably right. Just knowing Marvel.
Yeah. Well, either way.
But I'm rooting for kill him right in front of her.
Brutal. All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 17, legacy numbering 818, Nick Spencer, Humberto Ramos, Victor Olazaba, Edgar Delgado. I did say that.
Nice.
Covered by Humberto Ramos and Edgar Delgado.
I do like this cover quite a lot.
So,
that is quite a gorgeous cover.
The last issue, Spider-Man 16, we got the Prelude to Hunted, then we got 16.HU. So get used to that lettering for a while, because there's going to be sub-stories. 3 more of those.
Are these sub-stories based on hero or
villain?
Villain?
Yes.
Ooh.
So as we go on, you'll realize that this is all a villain-based story.
Okay.
This is dope. Craven has been rounding up villains of Spider-Man that all related to animals. So we got Rhino, Black Cat, blah blah blah.
Okay. So is this the Hunter from Spider-Man?
Yeah, this is the most dangerous.
Okay. So this is focusing around that, like the guy who arises during the point where Spider-Man starts to grow all of his legs and like become a spider.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm not extremely familiar with a lot of the illustrated Spider-Man, but the Spider-Man animated series as a kid in the 90s fucking ate it up. And that was where I was introduced to the Hunter. When Spider-Man started to go through the metamorphosis where he was growing legs on his ribs and he got the 8 legs finally and he is actually a spider.
8-legged Spider-Man is a thing, yeah.
That was where the Hunter originated. Is that who we're focusing on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
All right,
yeah.
so this is Kraven the Hunter. So in the last issue, 16 was the prelude, which was Hunter's... All right, so he put out he made a whole bunch of sons.
Okay.
And then he's like, all right, he came home one day and there was just one son standing there over the corpse of all of his other sons. Yeah. And Kraven gets this tear in his eye and he was like, I did it. This is the best one. I'm so proud. So, and that was the prelude to what's happening here. You were going to see Kraven's one true son.
Wow.
Pretty much, I believe this is the rise to the mantle.
Basically the supreme predator in this story.
So, check it out. Also in that story, which I found to be very, I thought it was weird the way it was told. Like, Spider-Man and MJ, like, Spider-Man had a head cold the whole time.
Right.
Okay.
And, like, a lot of that, like, the way that 16 was told was, like, Kraven's son's origin story. Spider-Man has the flu. Kraven's origin story. Spider-Man has a really bad headache.
Okay.
So, that plays into the part where...
Do you think Spider-Man's at any point, like, getting any of this information? Or is this just slashing over to the side? To see, like, hey, look at Spider-Man.
The whole time, MJ's like, why don't you rest? And he's like, maybe you're right. I haven't been getting sleep. Well, he realizes that this, not only has Black Cat been abducted... Which we all know that ain't gonna fly with Peter because they are very good friends. I think in like issue 5, the way they tied that all
like
together,
crossed fingers.
Well, no, the way they I think it was like one of the very first issues of this new Spider-Man run. The way they made Black Cat seem still viable without her being a love interest and everything, and very close friends.
So she's not in a love interest.
No. And MJ's the love interest.
Okay.
So he's explaining all. He realizes that Black Cat's gone missing and she's imprisoned, but it's not just that. Is that the Snake Boy, Jonathan something or other? Billy Connors. Spider-Man's not going to let the fact that this poor little defenseless Snake Boy has also been captured, because like I said, Kraven's after everybody that's animal related.
Okay.
Because he has rounded up all of these big game hunters, and he's going to release all of these animal villains in a dome in the city with Spider-Man, while these big game hunters also attack all of these villains. So it's this whole game he's playing. He's not going to kill anything.
My eyes are just getting wider and wider by the second.
Well, how does Spider-Man show up? Well, not only is it Black Cat and Billy Connors, the trap, well, Kraven's son is going to be the one to capture him.
Oh.
Well, there's all this hallucinogenic gas going on, and that plays into the part with Spider-Man being sick. Because he's sick, he's been weakened somehow. So he's able to be affected a little bit more than usual. So all of that wasn't
I think that's something we've seen before, so that makes sense to play in.
Right, and you could see, like, it's happening, and eventually, Kraven's boy takes him back.
Oh, I just want to go back for a second. Couple of things. That's some fucking Spawn color palette right there.
Oh, dude, no, this art's on point, man. It's a lot of fun.
That's
Humberto
gorgeous.
Ramos, here's the thing about how Humberto Ramos draws Spider-Man, is he draws him as a skinny little prick, and at the same time, you don't doubt the way his stature is. Like, a lot of the way he does figures.
That makes sense to me. When it comes to Spider-Man, if you really look at Peter Parker, when he first starts out, he's not a built dude. He's getting picked on all the fucking time. Hence the Flash Thompson story. But when, you look at that, it makes sense. It's like, yeah, he's a skinny dude, but he's cut. He's cut. And that's how my favorite
Tone.
Spider-Man... That's how my favorite Spider-Mans have been. No, tone is a whole nother thing from cut. Spider-Man at that point is cut. His muscles are clearly defined.
Yep.
And that is cut.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something that you see in a lot of...
It's just the way he draws his legs is always super puny. That's just Ramos's Spider-Man steez is all.
Okay, I'm looking at that leg, and you're right. That is tiny. That's a fucking tiny leg.
That's a style choice.
That's absolutely art style
That's how
choice.
I will always know that Humberto Ramos drew that.
The rest of it is almost fantasy realism. Okay, here we go. That's a little bit better.
See?
That seems more realistic and actually proportionate to what I would expect Peter Parker to actually be. He is what a spider is, which is proportionately strengthful or over-strengthful for your size.
And then he wakes up in this dome, and he's not just in Spider-Man, he's in Black Suit Spider-Man. So then he's even
why does Venom come in? Nobody knows?
No, it's not Venom. It's just Black Suit Spider-Man. He woke up and he was like, well, I'm in a different costume.
Well, Black Suit Spider-Man's always been Venom, though,
but
it's not?
It's just a different costume.
It's not. Okay, all right.
Yeah, all right. That's all that is.
I'll let it go.
And he wakes up and he sees Scorpion, and then he's like, oh shit, all these guys are about to come out at me, and then this is where it gets super
double
crazy.
Panel.
Oh yeah, baby.
I mean, double page.
You see all these animal villains come out, and when you think this is all of them versus Spider-Man, you realize, no, this is a free-for-all. Because, boom, there's another villain in play here.
Oh,
by the name of...
Hunter's son?
No, Arcade. He has created all of these craven robot cyborgs to hunt all of these guys down.
Ooh.
So that's that final panel there is all these... I mean, they're swinging through the trees and... Dude, this is...
everyone versus everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
And this is what it is, man. It's not just like, they're all varied up. We got one of them with like a bow and arrow and everything.
But here's the thing is, the Kraven cyborgs, at least the one at the very front, almost seems to have a very... It's the tail on his hood almost seems to have a very goblin look to it.
Oh yeah,
that is very goblin.
Oh, for sure, dude. I totally dig that. I know, I like that a lot. This is
it makes me question what the future of that series is, because that is
I can tell you one thing right now is it's not going to be. This is not just a one and done type of thing. This is going to go for a bit, and it even says in the back when you read the author's notes. This is actually the story that Nick Spencer pitched to Marvel to convince them to let him take over Spider-Man, which we all know is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially after everybody hated him for what he did with Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So, not Secret Wars, Secret Empire, my bad. So, yeah, no, and then he took this on.
Secret Wars has brought in actually a lot of very favored characters, actually.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. I fucked that up. But no, I really, really enjoy where the story's going to go. I thought it was going to be overhyped because I had seen so many solicitations and everything.
Sure.
We're even going to get side issues, like we're going to get an 18.HU, which is the hunted thing, kind of like how they did with
that's right. You were talking about the subtitling and the sub-issuing.
Right. There's going to be some of these villains are going to be all tied out or have their own little quick sub-story or whatever. And it even says in the back, it's like, check it out, this is going to really develop some stuff in the Spider-Man universe that it's going to blow a lot of people's minds. So I don't know if that's Marvel hyping shit up.
We're going to shake up some dust.
But I have a feeling that, like, I don't know, maybe like an 18.MU could be like a key issue somehow or something. So don't, or not MU, HU. Not Monsters Unleashed, that was a different thing they did. But, yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't say sleep on those issues because I fucked up and slept on 16.HU, and I don't know what it was. So I have to go back now because of what was solicited in the back of this book here. All in all, what I'm saying is this is a character that a villain that I'm not familiar with that's tying in a lot of villains that I'm very familiar with and truly love, especially Rhino. Right. Being that he was like really the focal point of bringing in this whole story because he was the one to get captured that we truly noticed.
I was just going to call you out and say that Rhino's got a lot of design similarities to Kingpin. I think that's a lot of your allegiance to him.
That's you absolutely could be right about that. But I mean, we got Vulture in this mix. We got Scorpion. There, like a whole bunch of C-list characters. There's
Doc Ock, Black Cat.
Oh, yeah.
Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I definitely have to say that the cover art catches my eye.
Dude, it's good stuff, man. Who did that cover again? Oh yeah, the whole Ramos and Delgado.
That picture of every character is actually mounted on a plaque, and it's fantastic.
Even Black Cat being cross-eyed.
Right.
I love it. Maybe that's just me. She is cross-eyed there, right? She's totally cross-eyed.
Oh yeah.
There. Yeah, that bitch is cross-eyed as a bat. Let's move on. Tony Stark Iron Man #9 Legacy 609 Dan Slott Jim
I'm telling you, one day we got to do an Old Man Stark.
One day. Valerio Schiti, Paulo Rivero, and Edgar Delgado. Cover by the great Alexander Lozano, as we're finding out. So, this book is, it is strange, and being that Dan Slott decided to bring in Jim Zub, it only makes sense that it gets strange. Did you read this book?
No.
Alright, so the Escape is still fucked as we know it. We know that Maria and Howard Stark are in this AI universe. Of course, it's obviously not them, but it's AI versions of them being controlled by the Motherboard, who's really the evildoer in all of this. Tony Stark is pretty much brainwashed, if you will. And he is trying to be convinced by his adopted mother, Maria, that who is in her younger punk form, you know, that, bye, don't be like that. And then, Motherboard keeps having her way, and then it makes Tony see Maria as like this like super old school villain. And you could see with the art style here, like how they had to go old school.
No, I definitely like the shift right there. Yeah. I'm almost surprised that they didn't do like the dot color ins.
Oh yeah, no, the Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I dig the aesthetic though, for sure.
Well, they kind of do it in a way with cross-hatching though, like they do a version of it.
Oh, very, very certainly.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. That is old school cross-hatching.
Yep. So yeah, no, we get this whole thing, and Machine Man pops into this to kind of help out Amanda Stark, not Maria Stark, my bad. Amanda Stark, or not Stark either. Jesus, Amanda. Tony's mom. Tony's real mom. Not adopted. I screwed all of that up. Amanda is Tony's real mom.
All right, so what is the actual name? Like, the full name?
Amanda... Tony's mom.
Amanda Tony's mom. All right.
That's exactly it. So, and you can even see, going back to that, like, Machine Man, he shows up, and I'm not going to get into how he's able to show up. He's a technological badass. He sneaks in through the back door, somehow, cybernetically. Okay. And so he's under this disguise, and then he like sees Tony Stark running around looking for them, but they're holograms. But then he like looks and he points out, any old school Iron Man fan like myself knows that Tony Stark used to roll around on some roller skates. Well, we get that here. And even Machine Man, he's like, roller skates? What decade is this? Like, as he sees Tony Stark going around, like, I swept the whole area, Ma, I can't find them. As they, like, sweeps right by him. But like I said, Machine Man has them hidden because he's a tech guy. Right. The Escape is a virtual reality world.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you knew that by now.
No. I'm grasping the concepts as you're throwing them at me, actually.
So, pretty much the whole gist here is to try to get Tony to snap out of it, realize that Motherboard and Maria and Howard Stark are all bad guys.
Gotcha.
And, I don't know how to really explain how this turns out. I mean, it's got to continue on. Like, it's weird, man. But like I said, with Jim Zub coming on, I would only expect nothing less than weird.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see how that turns out.
I really dig this old school aesthetic that they do.
But the best thing is it's the same artist throughout all of it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane.
Well, because the first part of the story I completely left out is them explaining why the Avengers aren't coming to help. And you see the champions in one panel be like, we're busy with other shit. And then you see Captain America and a couple of the other Avengers. Like, they're all not necessarily busy with other shit, but they're busy with after all of the other people that are trapped in the Escape to have this whatever.
But when you have the same artist doing, beautiful, brilliant, hyper detailed. Well, I won't say hyper detailed because I'm sorry, buddy, your backgrounds aren't that detailed. But that might have to just do with what scenario you're in currently.
Right.
But
he does a pretty good job.
But when he goes from that to, flip to the
Roller
the
skate.
retro style. It's just, I get this image of like Toki and and Squizgar when they have to have like the bricks strapped to their arms so that they can play slower.
Yeah.
Because like, no, we cannot play slow. That's physically impossible.
Yeah.
It really seems like you see this as like, I want to give you this the shading and the realism of the future, but you're not letting me. We've got to do this
you
retro.
can see the Liechtenstein in there.
Oh yeah, but it's just it's beautiful. It's a wonderful I want to say indicator of how far we have really come in art styles and how well, like, even if say he went to go and he was doing his same stuff back in the day that art was relevant, they would have to pick up a little bit for him.
Oh, for sure. No, this... I'm not gonna... Alright, so the first time I went through this book, I was like, why didn't I like this book? And then I went through it a second time, and I realized, like, oh, this is supposed to be weird. Sweet!
Okay.
I mean, this is...
Well, you're in a virtual reality. Anything's possible.
Right,
Abuse it.
right. And
I'll give you that for
yeah,
sure.
they just went in a direction I didn't expect is all.
Yeah.
I am so used to Brian Michael Bendis as Tony Stark. Through 9 issues, I still haven't got used to Dan Slott writing Tony Stark.
Right.
I just haven't got used to the voice yet. It just hasn't. I'm sorry. So when they said Jim Zub, I was like, oh man, maybe this could be the guy. Like, maybe Jim Zub could bring me in. And now, it's not necessarily I found the voice, because this isn't Tony Stark, obviously. But as far as, like, the weight of a Tony Stark story, while still maintaining a fun type of whatever, it seems about right to me.
Okay.
For sure. So, yeah, no, I'm happy with it. Let's move on to Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, issue number 4, written by Kyle Higgins, art and cover done by Rod Reese, and letters done by Clayton Cowles.
Sweet.
So we thought this would be the last one for the Winter Soldiers. We have one more.
Okay.
We do have a little bit more information on RJ's father. We know he's Richie Edward Boyle. He was kind of a con man who did some minor crimes to get by, but then when he had a sick wife and a brand new baby, he went to more desperate routes and started knocking over banks. After robbing 6 banks in 2 years, he was finally caught and put into prison for a 15-year sentence with possibility of parole after 10. Well, 14 years to the day from him being put in there, he is let out. And he just happened to be in a bar where they were covering some news, and they showed Bucky Barnes and his son.
That's weird. That whole art style is outlined, but with watercolor almost. That's...
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely. I am not going to
Malik.
diss it for a single second. It's beautiful. It's just, wow. Okay, sorry, go on.
So we do have the story, and RJ's a little suspicious. Like, well, you disappeared when I was a baby. How do you know what I look like? Oh, well, maybe I should have mentioned this earlier. I have this picture that your mother sent me of you and her, and I've looked at this every single day, hoping that when I got out, I could make things right. And I just happened to run into you. And they're leaving this restaurant, and it seems like RJ's starting to open up, that maybe he's accepting that this really is his father, and that this is his chance to no longer be a sleeping Hydra agent, but to actually have a fresh start and have a real family, have a real childhood. But then these goons run into them, and, oh, Richie, it isn't Richie Rich. You owe us some money. Hey, kid, you better go around the corner. We're going to have a conversation with your father. And there's a little bit of a confrontation. RJ kicks their butts a little bit.
That does not look like a bitch slap. That looks like a fucking choke to a chop to the trachea.
Oh yeah, no, that is a karate.
So
chop.
RJ is a Hydra agent, and they trained him by recreating the same methods that they used to train Bucky Barnes. So
I felt like honestly, I'm not gonna. This story seems more like a RJ story than a Winter Soldier story.
It's a bit of both, because you have Winter Soldier confronts them. It's like, well, what are they talking about? Oh, you borrowed $50,000 from these guys at a huge interest rate? That's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. Well, he's my son. I'm going to see him if I want to. You don't know what you're talking about. Mind your own business, Bucky. And then you got Bucky, having a conversation with RJ, and RJ says, well, maybe he really is trying to change. And you have Bucky Barnes in Philadelphia. He goes to the mob boss who's looking for Richie, and he pays them off.
Oh,
So, hey, just
man.
leave him alone. His debts are paid. Here's the money he borrowed, plus the interest.
Conor McGregor style.
Well, then you've got RJ and his dad at dinner. Like, hey, well, so I think I found a place. This job kind of sucks, but I think I found a better job. This will be it's a card game. It's just asking to be knocked over. What do you say, me and you? Well, Dad, I don't think that's really starting over. I thought you were trying to get rid of the criminal life. Oh, you know what? You're right. It was a crazy idea. It's off. But it's not off. Because you have him back in the bar talking to some other people. Well, so you said your partner is still down to knock over this card game? Yeah. We need to iron out some details, but we're there. Well, Bucky's been spying on him. And he confronts him. And Richie again gets all defensive. No, I'm not working for Hydra. I'm not a pawn. I wasn't released early because the Hydra Man's trying to track RJ down through me. And he throws a punch at Bucky, and Bucky gets him once in the stomach. And when he goes to reach back and hit Bucky again, he trips and hits his head on a dumpster, and he's presumably dead. You get the snap.
Yeah, you get a snap there. Oh,
shit.
To be continued. And then the next one will be the finale.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so it is going 5.
But this little teaser at the end sounds like we're going to have RJ and Winter Soldier going at it again.
I'm going to say again, like the art style really just blows me away on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like wild and kind of carefree. But...
Well, it's just when you think that the lines are very well defined and shown for what they are, and he's just watercoloring inside those lines, he's like, no, that's not what I'm doing here.
And I like these solid kind of color backgrounds, because like this red for this angry emotion, and boom, this dark blue for this
it's not just that,
somber.
But it's so many shades of red used to depict two different characters in the same scene.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Just up. Right on. All right, moving along. The Age of X-Man.
Oh, we back on Nathan Gray, huh?
Well, yeah, no Nathan Gray in this one, but this is that whole timeline. So this is the 5th book out of the 5 series now. I said that wrong. the 5th title out of the 5 titles are going to come out in 5-issue increments.
This is the 5th part of this event.
Right. Apocalypse in the Extracts is what it'd be called.
It's a trippy issue.
Yeah, you read this one?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it can be summed up pretty quick, though. So this is Tim Seeley, Salva Espin, and Israel Silva, and I have finally finished my Inyok Lee connecting cover variant, so I gotta go find a fucking sweet frame for all of this, and goddamn did it finish strong.
Are you gonna do how many pages? 5 pages, so you gotta do a 5-page frame?
5 issues.
That's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. So yes, what this is, just to kind of give you a quick whatever, Ensabarner, or as I like to call him, Apocalypse, has these followers, being Genesis, which is technically Apocalypse's son, Dazzler, Eye-Boy, which I'm not familiar with until now, Kitty Pryde, and Unveil.
And Kitty Pryde's been around for a while.
Oh, dude, so it's about time we figure out where the fuck Kitty Pryde's been doing. So long story short, these guys are anti-X-Men. They don't like this extremist whatever. They're the...
Let us love, man.
Extracts, yeah. No, well, Dazzler's super fucking hippie.
Beatnik.
Yeah. We're gonna, yeah. That's, well, at least what that shows she is in that she's a pop star and regular whatever. Yeah, no, she's total fucking beatnik in this. So, I mean, just kind of skipping ahead pretty much, it is these guys setting up to take on the X-Men, essentially is what this is.
Yeah, like a social reformation. Like, let us love, let us love.
Yeah, because, I mean, in case you're not familiar or haven't been reading this Age of X-Man thing, Nate Gray...
This is a 616 story, right?
Oh, yeah, no, this is all still very canon. It's just ever since, since X-Man was like, no more X-Men and under peril with humans.
So this isn't Kid Apocalypse, is it?
No, this is not, no.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
No, this is not an Apocalypse story, it's just Apocalypse is a part...
Well, but Genesis, I could have sworn at one point...
That's a whole different thing.
No, but at Genesis at one point, I was just saying, Genesis at one point, I could have sworn the mantle was Kid Apocalypse.
Yeah, no, it's nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's none of that's canon. There has anything to do with this. They're not relating to anything. This is them starting a whole new X-Men story.
Okay.
Think of the X-Men as rebooted.
Okay.
Yeah, none of that before really is a thing. Matthew Rosenberg is like, all right, Uncanny X-Men is where it's at now. These are so with the remaining mutants that were left on Earth after X-Man's air quotes snap, if you will.
Okay, that's right. This is
we've got
only
Cyclops
mutants.
and Wolverine.
This is the only mutants exist storyline, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And in this storyline, love is not a thing. Companionship is not a thing.
They've evolved past that because now they're all incubated.
Yeah, they're all just they're made, not born.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
So and the Apocalypse and the Extracts.
I'll just let that go.
Yeah, is pretty much them saying, "Oh, that's not cool."
Okay.
So yeah, now we've got the layout.
Actually, I kind of want to bring it up a little bit. Like that's actually a few different future societies and comics and media and sci-fi media that you see. Love is no longer relevant. It is simply about reproduction, and sexual intercourse is actually a form of stress relief at that point.
Yeah, that's not even a thing here.
Not even a thing there.
Forbidden.
Okay.
No, yeah,
like you're not allowed to touch another mutant.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like it's all forbidden. Immediate prison.
Don't hold hands. You do not kiss.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, the extremists show up and take you to prison.
Okay. The Gestapo, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's a gnarly story, and
a
lot of people
brain
might
wipe these people.
All right.
And really what this is it's kind of a roundabout way for Marvel to tell the story, like allow the Uncanny X-Men story to be told without forgetting about 90% of the mutants.
Okay.
So they're still getting to touch on all these other mutants.
Yeah,
and tell their own story. Like all of this stuff that's going on here, really, I have a feeling is not going to matter.
Yeah.
There might be one or two things. Oh, well, I take that back. Major X is going to come into this. I believe this is my speculation. Major
X our fucking Judge Dredd character?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So I have a feeling he's going to show up throughout one of these 5 mini-stories, and that's what's going to make this whole side thing collectible.
Yeah, right.
Marvel's
just
smart. They're going to make this marketable.
I just do not like his design.
Oh, no, dude, I'm not going to argue any of that. Believe me, it's... So, yeah, no, it's... But I think that's how Marvel's going to make all of this relevant. But like I said, right now, if you look at Uncanny X-Men, we've just got, like, a couple of big mutants along with a bunch of C-listers coming out of the sewers, almost literally.
And trying to scrap together the last remnants of mutant.
So it's still a way to make sure you get all your awesome mutant fix, just told in a fun way.
Yeah, no.
I totally understand what they're doing here.
So now that you've read the first of all 5 of them, what do you think of these events?
There's 3 of them that I'm going to continue to read. I'm going to continue to buy all of them, just because I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
But I will say that there's 3 out of the 5 that I'm really on board with. Unfortunately, the one that I was most excited about turned out to not be my
extremist. Yeah.
But all the other ones, I thought Prisoner X was pretty cool.
Sure.
And then the first 2 were awesome. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head.
They're gonna get my money on one of them because I love Blob. So.
Oh yeah, no.
Prisoner X was the one we were discussing a couple weeks ago when it was talking about Beast being in prison, right?
Yeah, with Beastbeard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
And what was that the one?
Gabby
and Bishop and
hazing Gabby and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was good stuff. Anything with Gabby, I mean, I'm glad that they didn't forget about Gabby.
What was the one we were talking about where it was the multiple versions of Wolverine that have occurred over the timeline?
Oh, that was I think in a Return of Wolverine story, or no, Death of Wolverine.
Where he was trapped in his own
Return of Wolverine.
Where he was trapped in basically his own mental prison that had like the different versions of him that have existed.
Yeah. Okay. Return of Wolverine.
That was Return.
Sorry, that was cool.
Oh hell yeah, it was. All right, shall we move along? I think we shall. Punisher number 9, or Legacy 237, Matthew Rosenberg, Simon Krudansky, and Antonio Fabella, cover by Greg Smallwood. Nothing has changed with this team through 9 issues. I don't know how to... I could wrap this up real good and quick. You get everything that I've been talking about Punisher throughout. You get blood, gore, an abundance of violence, and Frank Castle coming out of Begalia's prison, being held by Zemo, making Zemo look like a bitch, and he comes out with a prisoner tank.
Yep.
Is how this happens. There's no way you can't describe this story because it is an action story. I could say pow and bang and boom and oh my god and holy shit a lot, but I would rather you just read this story, get what you want out of Frank Castle, because this team, I'm not lying, there's not a more solid team in comics than this team. And even Greg Smallwood, who's been the cover artist through all of these, like, it's... I love the Punisher books. It is still still my favorite Marvel book.
Yeah, nice.
And has been through since issue 1.
I love the representation of Zemo in this one, for sure.
Oh, dude,
it's my
Zemo.
favorite Zemo I've ever read.
This is...
yeah. I mean, I love that at the end, like, because they have Chameleon...
Jigsaw.
Well, they have Chameleon dressed up as Frank Castle, and they hang him publicly, even though they have Frank Castle in custody, because they want to slowly kill him, take their time with him.
Right.
And then at the end of this prison break...
Zemo has no idea that Frank's
breaking out. You've got this flag,
this
Hydra flag with the big Punisher sign
on
this burning prison to show everybody that Frank Castle's really alive and he's back. And the butler comes in to tell him, like, Zemo, have you listened to this? No. 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 Yeah, the Punisher got out. No, damn it! Pulls out his gun and shoots his butler.
And Jigsaw's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to look for a butler.
Yeah, I'm looking for a new butler. No, I'm not about the Frank Castle thing.
And then, yeah, you see
You don't find Frank Castle, he finds you.
Punisher tank. No, that's how you tell a Punisher story.
That was brilliant.
It's I'm telling you, Matthew.
It's just a good closing line overall.
Yep. It's the shit. All right. I know we were real quick on that, but like I said, that's how Punisher rolls. He don't fuck around.
Well, it just seemed like the flow of panels overall as you were flipping through that. Anyways, it's just quick moving. It's done.
You get your action that you want from it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's what the Punisher was meant for.
Totally. Asgardians of the Galaxy, number 7, Cullen Bunn, Matteo Buffoni.
You better tell me we got some Throg here.
We do. We totally do.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for some Throg.
Totally. Jamal Campbell on the cover. So, as we know, Ravengers, they arrive on this planet, this mysterious planet. They were in the last issue. They run into the Ravengers. Turns out the Ravengers aren't so bad. They're protecting this this clan of people. Then all of a sudden, the Earth starts fighting back, or not the Earth, but the territory. And then you realize this territory is Ego. So that's how the last issue ended.
Okay.
So here we are with the Asgardians, with the help of the Ravagers, trying to save these people from a planet that they are living on. Well, the twist in this story is it's not Ego fighting them. It is his moon, Alter Ego, taking control of Ego. So Ego actually has a
Alter Ego?
Well, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. He has a treaty with these people, but Alter Ego comes along and he fucks with it. So Ego is by no means wants to harm these people. So throughout this fun series of events, the Ravengers and the Asgardians are able to subdue Alter Ego the best they can. The Ravengers stick around, and being that Angela, the leader of the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and Thor's sister, is lovers with Sarah, the second in command of the Ravengers, we get this goodbye type of panel. And yes, we do get some Throg action.
I was about to ask you, where's it happen?
Oh man, it's in here. It's almost immediately if I remember right. No, it's not. Oh, yeah, bam.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm falling over looking for Throg.
Oh yeah, well, that's good stuff.
Oh dude, he's one of my favorite characters. I don't know why, but he's just such an amazing Asgardian.
Oh, it's awesome that they make Throg such a awesome part of this. But throughout this whole separation and them parting ways, Ravengers have been established as pretty much good guys at this point, which I like. Yondu was a badass throughout 2 issues. These last 2 issues have been the strongest. This series is really starting to carry.
Really, they give Yondu more of a story in this, huh?
Oh yeah, no, he's pretty much the guy that convinces the rest of the Ravagers that maybe we should have a soul and help out these poor people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool how they do them. But on top of it all, Kid Loki throughout this whole time has been a part of this, and everyone has been doubting him. He's like, he's gonna fucking turn on us anytime. Well, as we get like this Luke Skywalker fading away type of scene where as Angela is kind of having her final words, or not, she didn't know it's her final words, but she's talking with him after it's all said and done. He's like, well sis, it didn't fuck you over overall. And then she's like, yeah, I guess you did. And then he's like, so Loki's spell that brought me about is starting to wear off, and you see him kind of go translucent, and he's like, bye, and the whole time we've been expecting since the very beginning. Like, what are we at? Issue 7? So through 7 issues now, we've been waiting for Kid Loki to really just turn the tables on this guy.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, he's been a pretty decent Asgardian, the best he can. I mean, he hasn't been the biggest help. He's provided a lot of information.
But he was actually an apparition created by actual Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's gone.
Yeah, he's just gone now.
That's fucking what?
Yeah.
Yes, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast. This is something I want American media to adopt more, which is like, you've gotten used to this character.
Peace.
He's gone now. Bye.
Yep.
He's gone. You like, no, we don't care. He's dead. You don't see him anymore.
I feel like this is like a pretty true to character, like modern representation of the Ravagers. Like, Ravagers bad. Okay, Ravagers not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you that.
And it also makes me believe that Yondu is going to wield some sort of badass weapon and fight a fucking frost giant in the War of the Realms.
Do you think he's coming back?
Oh, he's coming back. Everybody's playing in the War of the Realms. Everybody's gonna play.
Well, I thought that was the whole point of the War of the Realms, is that everybody's playing in War of the Realms.
Yondu, and I think they just wanted people to remind everybody that Yondu, like, despite what you saw in the movies, Yondu be alive, y'all.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Well, we know MCU is different. MCU is separate.
Totally. But I think this is just people reminding the new readers, like,
if you're not aware.
Yeah.
If you got into the books because of the movies.
Here he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He is what it is. Not Darkseid is. Darkseid is.
All right, so what is this? Dead Man Logan.
Dead Man Logan, number 5. Ed Brisson, Mike Henderson, and Nolan Woodard, covered by Declan Shalvey, as it is. So this is the last of Old Man Logan. So as Mysterio has been playing his little tricks or whatever, and he's on his way to go double cross the people, Sin and Miss Sinister.
Yep.
Bring Logan and Glob and just a couple of random mutants and Hawkeye along to go take out Sin and Miss Sinister and Crossbones.
And Dazzler too, right?
No Dazzler. No. And so Mysterio, seems to triple cross. Like, they're getting ready to pull up to the island, and all of a sudden Mysterio's like way ahead, and they're like, God damn it, he led us into a trap.
Yeah.
And then you see Mysterio going like, they're on their way, and you're like, dog, I was liking you.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out to be a big triple cross. You read this? Did you read this?
Yeah.
Right on. So yeah, then we get Jubilee, she's in there, and so they like come around, you think you see Logan and Jubilee come around the corner, and it turns out...
No. I want you to explain to me why.
Jubilee, that's right.
I want you to explain to me why Jubilee is in the future with Old Man Logan.
This isn't the future. No. This is Old Man Logan back in our time.
Yeah.
But okay, I've missed a lot. I'm sorry.
Dead Man Logan is the end. Now that Logan is back, like Wolverine is back.
He's come back to stop Mysterio.
Well, I know there was
there can be only one.
I know there
so
was like what was it, Galactic Logan or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Phoenix Force Wolverine is a whole different thing.
Okay.
This is Old Man Logan. His last 12 issues before they
so
finally
he's
say...
come back into,
There's no coming back, he's just here.
Well, no, there is a coming back because Old Man Logan is a future thing.
Okay. I gotcha.
Jubilee is a past thing as opposed to Old Man Logan because in the original story, Jubilee is someone who joins while Wolverine is still a member of the X-Men.
Gotcha.
Yes,
right now they're together, though.
Okay.
And they're trying to fight this situation. And... Jubilee is a part of this little team along with Glob and Hawkeye and Bishop, and I think that's about it for the most part.
Okay.
And Mysterio. So Mysterio makes the Neo Hydra crew, who pretty much Cinema Sinister is running. This is all a Neo Hydra bases where they're invading.
Okay.
They make them believe that it's Wolverine and Jubilee coming around the corner, and it turns out it's actually Sin and Crossbones. And Crossbones jumps in front, and Crossbones is dead. Like, boom. That's it. Killed by his own people. Then you realize that, oh shit, Mysterio is on their side. Right on. He quadruple crossed these bitches.
What?
Yeah, man.
Nobody's side.
Right. And and that's what it is. So, after it's all said and done, the X-Men and the mutants and Hawkeye prevail. And but throughout all of this, Wolverine thinks he finally gets his one-on-one shot with Mysterio, despite him helping him carry all this out. Logan, my bad, not Wolverine, has a bone to pick with Mysterio, because the whole reason that Logan is in the situation he's in now is because Mysterio made Logan believe that he was fighting all these bad people and Logan killed all the X-Men. So that's what the Wasteland is Logan killing all the X-Men. So in his head, he's like, I gotta kill Mysterio now so that he doesn't do this thing to this version of Logan. So in his head, he gets that one-on-one. He's like, all right, bub, I got you. And then boom, claws to the face. Well, as Mysterio does, that's not how he goes out.
It was just a random Hydra
It was all a ruse, just to make Logan believe that he completed his thing. It wasn't to be like, I got you, bitch. It was to be like, all right, your mind's at ease now.
Oh, okay. So it's not even like you said, it's not a, I got you. It's, no, you think you did this.
And then
that's it. That's, as far as the reader is concerned, he thinks he did this, but as far as he's concerned, he thinks he did this.
Yeah,
but we know that's not how it went.
In this story, Mysterio is just in a retirement home or an
abandoned retirement home.
What?
Just trying to live out his life in peace. He's sick of getting beaten up, he got dragged out of this by Miss Sinister, which the whole place got bamboozled and shot up and everything else, and now he's just finally returning, and he's never leaving.
I really like that last panel with
slippers,
the boots as opposed to the slippers. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
all right.
Well, yeah, man, good stuff.
To be continued.
To be continued. Next up, we're sticking to the theme of Quad Folk. X-23, number 10.
We're moving on to Laura, huh?
We are. Mariko Tamaki, Diego Olortegwe, Walden Wong, and Chris O'Halloran, covered by Ashley Witter. So once again, this is a team that stuck together from the beginning, and I'll be damned if consistency is not a factor here.
I mean, that's a rare thing to see.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I like how they've been able to crank all this stuff out, and the story just gets better and better, or at least doesn't get worse. That's for damn sure. So as we know here, we got this new partial cyborg clone, or Tuoks, Tuoks as an acronym, as it's been known. Gabby and Laura both have different views on it. Gabby wants to be its friend. Laura thinks it's the enemy. Laura gets lured into this trap, and it's way too overwhelming for her. But as we left off in the last issue, Gabby was able to convince Tuoks that, everything's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Laura gets into this trap. She fucked, but ba-ba-da-da. Look at that fucking action scene. That's pretty dope, right? Podcast listeners. They come running to action, and it is this badass whatever. And those two fighting gives Laura the ability to go after the evil Dr. Robert Chandler that lured this trap together, who is responsible for creating these hybrid mutant clone cyborgs.
Mm-hmm.
And through all of this battling, we realize that, let me back up a second. We get what may be my favorite fastball special in all of comic books. The look of joy on Gabby's face as Tuok throws her through the sky is so much better than any form of emotion.
Any combination of Colossus, Wolverine, fastball.
Or any other fastball special that's ever been had. And there's been a few. But the look on her face, it just, I can't help but smile, no matter how many times I look at it. And I will say that this is actually my favorite panel in comics. The Batman Who Laughs thing was number 2, or Grim Knight thing was number 2. This is my favorite panel. And she flies up, she gets tossed in this building, and Tuoks, she's got robot legs, so she just jumps her way up. Right. And then you realize that Tuoks takes a flesh wound. But Tuoks doesn't have the ability, I know, I see the look on your face.
To, register that there's pain?
Well, no, she doesn't have the ability to actually verbalize and communicate.
Oh.
So everything is like, type of whatever.
C-3PO noise. Oh, not C-3PO, but R2-D2 noises.
Not hardly anything. It's like motioning towards things. She pretty much taps on her chest. And even Gabby's like, I don't know what that means. And then she motions her over into this building, and she's like, check out this button. And Gabby's like, oh, I know what that is. It's a self-destruct thing. Well, it's just you get this emotional moment, and as Laura's trying to jump on the helicopter with Dr. Chandler, You realize, Dr. Chandler's like, check it out, bitch, I got adamantium bullets, gadoosh, 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 and then just in the nick of time, Tuox jumps up on the helicopter and, takes the whatever needed. She rips Laura off the helicopter and she's like, no, you're good. And then the button gets pushed, you see all of the other cyborgs like, and that's...
We get no detonation sequence?
No big boom?
No.
Because that's what that seemed like that was leading up to, for sure.
Nope. Yep. You totally get a big old fucking detonation. The helicopter goes boom like a motherfucker.
Okay.
And then you get them back at home, and they're just like, oh, that sucked, and...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it did.
And... Gabby's looking at all the stuff on the ground, and they're arguing about what to have for dinner and all of that stuff. Just like, this is the typical Gabby and Laura
Back
type
to
of
normal
scenario.
day.
Yeah.
But you realize, you see Gabby like trying to write stuff out on this pad and paper, and she's writing out Tuox, and she writes out Tuox backwards, and then she like replaces a K with a C. You get Scout.
Scout.
That tells me the Scout be
really...
coming back, yo. They just named this bitch. She's coming back.
Cool.
That's
definitely, if you name something, it's gonna reoccur.
Dude, I still love this story.
But I'm gonna tell you this: don't get your hopes up, because reoccurrence through name, maybe even through flashback.
No, it's possible. It's cool. It's whatever. I'm fine with that. The fact is that they actually named this thing proper instead of Tuox.
No.
They all had the same.
Well, when you
acronym
said that
on
at
there.
first, I was like, that's an acronym or an acronym,
And
not
it is.
an God fucking
Abbreviation.
words. Well, no, abbreviation would be something else. No, it's an anachronism. I might not even have the word proper for that.
So, yeah.
but anyway, something that the letters rearranged create another word.
Gotcha, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yeah, no,
Acronym is simply
I know. Yeah.
initials.
Yes.
But anachronism, I think, is actually...
Well, an acronym is only initials that actually
A macronism.
spell a word.
Yes, initialism is actually words that are is just the initials.
All right.
An acronym is like if you have...
If it can say a word.
Yeah, exactly.
Grammar.
Whereas initialism would be like CIA, FBI,
Right.
stuff like that.
Sweet. Fuck. So, yeah, that's...
PETA would be an anachronism. Or an acronym, sorry.
Correct.
Right.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Moving
words.
on. Old Man Quill, number 3, Ethan Sachs, Robert Gill, and Andres Mosa. So, the story continues. The crash landing has happened.
Oh man, Quill's gonna have some run-in with Doom.
Eventually. Not quite yet, though. In the meantime, he arrives onto this planet. Just things so happen to work out the way that does.
I'm just gonna say, according to Doom's lore, wasn't Doom an old man by the time he encountered Iron Man?
This isn't a... Yeah.
Not
No.
okay.
This is different.
All right.
Story.
Yep. So, yeah, no, this is, Quill and the Guardians arrive to the Wastelands, and the townsfolk are very happy to see them. And the last issue, they were able to do something inadvertently that helped them out. In the meantime, they want to go buy them a drink. And they're like, oh, shit, you could be the ones to help us, help protect us. And they're like, wait,
Town
protect
hero.
us from what? And we get the, air quotes, ghost riders. And they're just pretty much, they're a biker gang, is what they are.
They're here for a bounty on Quill's head.
Yeah. And so we get, Quill showing his badassedness as an old man. Like, he still knows how to throw a headbutt and a punch. He takes these 3 guys out. He gives the one of the ladies a chance. And she's like, you're going to regret this. And she runs away. Meanwhile, the Guardians, they make their way out into the desert. They're setting up camp. Rocket goes to take a leak, and he's like, oh,
She
fart.
did have an army.
Yep. And they come back, and the Guardians get captured. And instead of getting murdered like they would normally do, you realize that Mr. Taskmaster has different motives. And he pins him up with all of these other old Avengers.
Yep. Let the games begin.
Yes. So we're getting like this gladiator type of scenario.
But against who?
Against...
Fin Fang Foom.
Fin Fang motherfucking Foom. Dude,
Next
right.
issue is going to be so dope.
I thought they lost me for a second. And then, because I did not like seeing Captain America all old.
Well, this is not Captain America. It's what? Cadet America.
Oh, is that what it was?
I was gonna say Captain America old. What is that?
It's just
Captain America.
It's a guy who decided to put on the Captain America suit.
Captain Sean Connery.
Yeah, but old dragon Fin Fang Foom. That right there is some stuff I never thought I'd see in my life.
Does Fin Fang Foom age? Really? I mean,
that's a good question.
He's aged in this for sure.
Yeah, so?
Like I've got. Oh, you can't see it from here. Like I've got Fin Fang Foom art. Not.
But do you think I
too
should
far
maybe
from
like
accessible.
No, I'm gonna look this up.
No, they definitely show age in there. Like they definitely show that he is aged.
Right on.
I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, the next issue is gonna be a lot of fun.
Dude, Fin Fang Foom. I love it. Last Marvel issue that I have to talk about.
Did you know that he was actually created by Stan Lee?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Oh, yeah. Fin Fang Foom go way back. He the shit.
1961, Strange Tales, number 89.
Goddamn right. Yeah, no, he's always a fun villain. And I can't wait to see him in old version, to see what he's learned.
Looks like they had that like, mind control device on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he'd be in control for sure. Alright, this next issue here, guys, is a big deal. Man, is it a big deal. I've been calling it, and I think I was actually right. I don't know how much of it was me. It was me pretty much agreeing with other people, and I think I picked the right answer, is what it came down to. So, to get on with it, we have Avengers No Road Home, the weekly. Number 5, Legacy 712, Al Ewing, Jim Zub, Mark Waid, Sean Izaski, and Marcio Menez. Oh boy. Alright, so in this one here, we get Nyx and her children faltering.
Correct.
And this, we get a merge between Wanda and Spectrum. We know that Wanda has been blinded. Spectrum has this innate ability that we're still learning about.
She can become energy and enter somebody's mind.
And then she's able to get into Wanda's mind and recreate the images that she sees in her head, which are the images that need to be created for the spell.
Right, she can draw this magical sigil.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we get Nightmare along with Hulk, Rocket, and Hawkeye taking on Hypnos in the Nightmare realm.
Hypnos a bitch.
And Hypnos, dude, he just gets owned easily. The two twins are faltering very easily, and it turns out that all of this is enough for Nyx to be like, dog, you don't know how much I've been holding back. Like, I could totally fuck your world up. Like, I've been playing it so easy on you. And then she just shows how easy she's playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And she turns Vision and Hercules to dust. We see Wanda get sent out to this weird desert planet, and then it dawned on me, I was like, it's gonna
She's
happen.
still blind.
Oh, is that fucking Scarlet Witch?
Yep.
We do.
Oh, okay, that's Scarlet Witch Wanda.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it dawned on me, I was like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You turn the page, and who comes to rescue her?
Conan.
Oh my god, no way!
It's in Chimeria, man.
Yep.
To be Conan continued.
Yeah, oh, that's a great. I'm sorry. I don't care how cheesy it is. That's
It's
a
happening.
freaking great. That's
there.
a great exit.
I talk
To
about
be
key-
Conan continued.
Key issues right here. Conan is officially part of the Marvel universe.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
This is good stuff, man. Like that. To me, that's how you wrap out an overview. But we've got more.
All about it.
That's it. We got from mainstream. All right, away from the mainstream, it's time to talk about our up and coming indie book this week, right?
Yeah.
All right, man. As you guys know, we've inadvertently been sent a bunch of indie titles, and we kind of just went through, and as they come along, we talk about them.
Yeah.
And
They want us to give them some exposure, and hey, we get to read free comics.
yeah, well, unexpectedly, we've enjoyed a lot of this stuff,
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
It's cool. So we get a lot of this stuff in a full form for free. And we get to try to help these guys get out there. So these are all up and comings. They're not a part of any major publisher that you're aware of. And this week's is Possession, and the publisher is, say that word?
Markosia?
Markosia. So we've got 2 issues of this. We got Possession number 1 and number 2. I think it's easier for us to talk about number 2. So
Great.
The title of this is Gods Under the Skin. Tell me who's you're closer.
Michael Norwitz, Mary Ann Vaupel, Enrico Carnevale, Andrea Blanco, and letters done by HDE.
Right on. So what we're getting here is pretty much more of the characters we got in the first issue. In the first issue, we got a lot of an introduction. I mean, it was a whole slew of characters. This book is supposed to, I mean, it's labeled as a superhero book. I didn't really get that feel in the first issue, but the second issue definitely gives more of that type of
I think we're
feel a
ramping
little
up
bit.
to that point.
Yeah, it's definitely ramping up to superheroes, I guess. So it starts out with two of our characters, Javier and Sheila. They're trying to break out of this weird, like, crackhead room or whatever.
Yeah, they've been captured and junk room for sure.
Sheila's trying to hide that she's magic, I believe, somehow. That's just, like, based off the dialogue. She's like, oh, turn your head, you can't see this.
Yeah, turn your head and close your eyes, and then boom!
Right. And they make their way out. And so they're on this little chase. They get drove off a road.
Yeah, but, like, it seems to be mostly humans, and this is, like, the first time we see, like, this ogre, troll, demon-esque type guy.
Yeah. No, so we're getting some otherworldly stuff. And in the first issue, I mean, it's more, we got tastes of otherworldly stuff in the first issue, because it started out, like, very, like, Greek mythology.
Yeah,
like
story of Aphrodite and Ares.
Yes. And you realize right off the bat this is going to be a very sexual-based story.
Definitely.
So, it slows down. I mean, it doesn't come as hard and as heavy as the first issue does in the second one.
That definitely ends that way, though.
But it definitely ends that way, that's for sure. So now we're back to another character that was introduced in the first one. We get this kind of like her name's Cora. She's like this old cat lady, and she's got this...
socially awkward, but loves her cats.
Right. And she's getting hit on by this Frenchman, and, she gets talked into getting taken back to her place, and... It gets
all of her cats suddenly take to him, and he's like, well, what's your secret? I wish they would love me like they love you. Well, I can show you, but first we must be together physically.
And that they do.
Yeah. He's really, like, manticore type demon. It's
even, like, complete with scorpion tail.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy. It gets...
It goes
it's a
dark
very
quick.
Alright.
There's
a little bit of Dark Souls bossery there.
Oh yeah, man.
Something like that.
And there's so many different side character scenarios happening. We get this Miss Anaya. She's like this musician who goes to this bodega and she's exchanging sandwiches for weed to these homeless people.
Yeah.
And then we get like the first taste of was the word being mysticism we get in the story in the first issue with like this business character, and we get like this ghost like character hovering over her.
Yeah.
That's really the first taste of magic you get in the story in the first issue. We get a very small taste of that through here, so they're just kind of like still picking at points of all these characters, slowly building them up. And then the end of it, after the whole weird cat lady bestiality boning scene, we get our back to our original characters, Javier and Sheila, who are referred to as our first real superheroes, and it's Morningstar and El Cadejo. And El Cadejo meaning is like this Central American mythological legend of this wolf, deer, a spiritual creature type of thing. And these guys are living out the they're
like the reincarnations of Aphrodite and Ares,
yes,
reunited, and like the first thing they do is just bone, just straight up bone. It was kind of like a sudden turn of pages.
It seems a
was
little
weird.
eroge.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very there's words for it in Japanese for just kind of it's not quite hentai, but it's an erotic comic.
Well, I would think it's I don't know if this word is a bad word by any means, but I'm gonna say smut. Like this is
Well, smut is very, very, very broad.
It's a very sexualized comic.
Right.
I don't like the art is fantastic in this, and I love like the mythology based
but
on
it is heavily sexualized.
It is. And I think that's kind of where it loses me. It's not a Justin book.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
I definitely think
the
there's an
sexuality
audience.
of it all, but I could definitely see where I could think of 3 ex-girlfriends that I could use this book to get into comics. Like, that's for damn sure.
Fair.
I mean, this is like the comic book equivalent of a romance novel, kind of.
I'd definitely say that was the best way to describe this book. It's just an illustrated romance novel. I don't want to say just an illustrated romance novel, but certainly the first thing that came to mind when I read it. The art style is very reminiscent of how I would see a lot of like romance novel covers or whatever. So yeah, no, that's totally on point with that. So once again, this is Possession by Michael Norwitz, Marianne Vaupel, Enrico Carnevale, and Andrea Blanco. So yes, no, thank you so much, guys, for giving us or submitting your book to us. To all the other indie creators out there, please keep them coming. We really enjoy reviewing your stuff, and we guarantee, even if we are not necessarily the audience for it, we could probably find someone out there that will enjoy it for sure. And I know that as far as, adult entertainment goes and all of that good stuff, like, this is probably an alley that really hasn't been barked down a whole bunch, to be perfectly honest. So for that, thank you so much once again, guys, and we raise a glass to you. Cheers. I'm gonna have to apologize. Actually, we lost. I lost two of the three of the hosts. Unforeseen circumstances arose, so it is down to just me, Brian Wayne, at this point to carry on. But thankfully, we got all of the important opinions and stuff out of the way. At this point, it's just kind of, letting you know what's coming. But first, I do want to talk about the wall books, because they were certainly pretty this week, and 2 out of 3 of them were art germ status. One of them was Catwoman number 9, and it's just her slinking down from the ceiling. I think she's in an upside down stance based off the Batman painting being upside down. But art germ and Catwoman strike again. And we also get another art germ Supergirl variant, Supergirl number 28. So just as pretty, this time without the cat, like the last one. But I will go ahead and just blatantly say my cover of the week goes to the variant for the Grim Knight number 1. It's the Gabrielle Delato cover. This thing is gorgeous and easily takes the cover of the week. If I had to give my pick of the week, off the top of my head, it would probably be, I don't know. It's really hard to say. It'd almost be too easy for me to say Murder Falcon, but I would actually probably say Amazing Spider-Man. You know what? Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man. I was impressed with the Kraven story. So yes, this whole Hunted arc that's gonna happen, absolutely. So yeah, that team gets my overall book of the week. My interiors of the week, oh boy. I'd actually have to go with Iron Man or Tony Stark Iron Man number 9, with how half the book just goes vintage, and we get that old school style with the rollerblades or roller skates and all of that. It's just perfect. It really took me by surprise, and I love it for it. So yes, no. Once again, this segment, it's so much shorter when it's just one. It's weird how that works. But at this point, let's move on to what is coming out next week, and it's gonna be a lot of stuff to talk about again. So let's start out with Dark Horse. We get more Hellboy. We get BPRD Devil You Know number 14, Mike Mignola and Scott Alley along with Lawrence Campbell. So once again, that is Dark Horse Comics. We can jump right into DC. We get Aquaman number 46, Kelly Sue DeConnick and Robson Rocha along with Daniel Enriquez. So Aquaman continues on. I believe there's some supposed chatter about an origin of something or a first appearance possibly. Not totally sure. More DC, Batman number 67, Tom King and Lee Weeks. So maybe they're finishing out this Nightmare saga, possibly? Hard to say. Justice League number 20, Scott Snyder and Jorge Jimenez. I'm reading that. Naomi number 3, Brian Michael Bendis, David F. Walker, and Jamal Campbell. There's talks of a new character being introduced into the DC universe, so speculation. Nightwing number 58, Scott Lobdell, Zach Kaplan, and Chris Mooneyham. So I've been hooked on Nightwing since the beginning. I don't know if I've actually shared this with you guys. My first taste into actually subscribing to a DC comic was Tim Seeley's Nightwing Rebirth. So Nightwing is actually my longest running DC comic that I've read. So, yeah, in case you didn't know that. Teen Titans number 28, Adam Glass and Bernard Chang. American Carnage number 5, Brian Hill, Leonardo Fernandez. It is a big DC week. We're into the DC Vertigo stuff now. High Level number 2, Rob Sheridan and Barnaby Bagenda. I believe Justin was into that one. Lucifer number 6, Dan Waters, Max Fuamara, and Sebastian Fuamara. More DC Vertigo. I am absolutely hooked on Lucifer at this point. The pacing is awesome. It's super creepy. It's everything I want out of a book called Lucifer. Let's move into IDW now. We got a Dungeons and Dragons A Darkened Wish number 1, Dave Walters and Tess Fowler. I'm sure Justin would be all over that one. It's a shame. I'm sure he'd be gushing if he knew that was coming out. The ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles continue on. Number 92, Tom Waltz, Kevin Eastman, and Michael Dialanis. Probably said that wrong. Sorry. And let's move into Image. Oh, it's a fun Image week. We got more Bitterroot, number 5, David F. Walker, Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green. We've got more Farmhand, Rob Gilroy and Taylor Wells. You bet your bottom buck I'm reading Farmhand. I'm so excited it's back. Middle West, number 5, Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. It's been an amazing ride so far. Hopefully we get some questions answered, but if not, whatever. Still got me. We're getting part 2 of the amazing Nightcrawler from the Age of X-Men stuff. So Shauna Maguire and Juan Figueredo. More Avengers No Road Home, number 6, Al Ewing, Jim Zub, and that whole team, along with Sean Izayazaki. So will we see more? We got Scarlet Witch with Conan now, so that's pretty fucking exciting if you ask me. That's for damn sure. Avengers number 17, Jason Aaron and David Marquez. So, of course, you all know I'm reading anything Jason Aaron. It's needless to say. Avengers is one of my favorite books right now. We've got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 4, Tom Taylor and Juan Cabal. Guardians of the Galaxy number 3, Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. So we're going to get our first look at the Dark Guardians of the Galaxy. We know Cosmic Ghost Rider went off and started his own thing from the Guardians, and so now we've got an unofficial title to this new team, possibly? I don't know. Mortal Hulk number 15, Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. We're going to get a reintroduction to a character that was introduced in issue 2, I believe, is how the speculation floats about in the world of comics. Alright, more Spider-Man. We got City at War number 1, Dennis Hopeless and Michael Bandini. So this is bringing in the video game Spider into Marvel Comics. So this is kind of a big deal, I believe. Miles Morales number 4, Saladin Ahmed and Javier Garron. So I've already expressed my likeness for Javier or Saladin Ahmed's Miles Morales earlier when we were talking about Miss Marvel. So of course I'm reading this Spidey title as well. More Spider-Man. We get a Chip Zdarsky, Mark Bagley thing that's been teased for a while. Zdarsky's very proud of this. We get Spider-Man Life Story, so we're going to get Spider-Man throughout the decades type of deal is how I understand all of this. More Uncanny X-Men, number 14, Matthew Rosenberg and Salvador La Roca. Venom number 12, Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. Of course we're reading Venom. West Coast Avengers number 9, Kelly Thompson, Gang Yuck Lim. So unfortunately we're ending all of that soon, but we've still got a few more issues in the meantime, so enjoy it while you can. Buy lots. Maybe Marvel will change their mind and they'll put it back into production again. We can only hope, right? I really enjoy that book. Last thing I have in Indies is going to be Exo Man of War, number 25, Matt Kent and Tomas Gorilero. Definitely said that wrong. So I believe this is the end of Exo. We're going to have to wait a little bit, and we're going to get another Respark, I believe. So another volume coming, perhaps. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final XO issue of this run. So, that is what I'm excited for. It's a shame that everyone had to bail. It's weird how all that worked out, but things happen. My most anticipated book of the week is going to go to probably the Avengers, just because, I mean, it's been extremely consistent throughout. The War of the Vampires continues on. It's been absolutely amazing. So, with all of that being said, I do believe we have a podcast in the books. So thank you to our creators of the indie title that we shouted out this week, which was Possession. We'd like to remind you guys to follow us on all of the major platforms you listen to your podcasts: Podbean, Spotify, Apple, Google, all that good stuff. Find us on Twitter, reach out to us, send us your comics, same thing with Facebook. You guys know how to work technology. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and you nerds, read responsibly. Thank you, and good night.